Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Me and the Homies podcast. I'm your host, Tayo. And today I'm joined by one repeat guest, but another new guest for the first time. I'm actually excited because these are like my nigga, you got to let me get in my bag when I'm describing y'all. Y'all already didn't see me the bio. Every time I have guests, everybody asking me, who's this, who's that? You just going to jump into it. I ask niggas for bios. I ain't got a bio yet.
I gave you a bio.
You ain't give me no bio. Okay.
It was a good bio.
Today I have Miya and Jac'quese here. What's up with y'all?
Gang.
Miya and Jac'quese are like the prolific example of like whenever you hear black people talk about their cousins, like these are those cousins that I wasn't there, but I know they was in the tub together, and one of them probably peed on the other one at some point in their lives. Like
We were under one. Come on, give us
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that happened at some point. How was y'all's Thanksgiving?
It was
Cool. It was cool. I think the most exciting part, we got to go to like a relative's house. We hadn't been in a long time.
Oh, you was just saying that.
Like a long
We were
time.
out east.
Out east. Like,
Ooh, felt good.
like, have you seen Stratford?
I haven't been by
Have you
Stratford in a
seen the
minute.
new Stratford?
They
Like,
renovated Stratford?
my mom actually might have let me go if it had looked like that. At
So
the
the east side is gentrified now. Do white people send their kids to Stratford?
It's a STEM magnet school, so probably.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
No,
it
the
says
fuck
it.
is
It says it.
Stratford is
it.
not a
It's
STEM
coming
magnet.
for you, MLK niggas. They're coming.
Is Stratford a STEM magnet
I
school?
mean,
It says it. It says
they
Stratford
want better
STEM
for the
Magnet High
area.
School.
Bro, next time I come into town, I'm just going to Stratford for no reason.
And
I just gotta see, like,
yeah, I haven't been out there, so that was.
They bands still look like Skittles.
my nigga, what?
All right.
Does Stratford wear multiple colors in their band?
I thought it was just
but
orange.
That S, it looks like an orange Skittle.
I
Oh,
almost
okay.
spit this shit.
I'm trying to send you my bio. It's never too late.
It's sugar.
I'm not reading y'all bios now.
What? Are you kidding me?
No,
we
I'm-
worked hard.
I'm
Hold
sick
on.
of
Can
this
I
shit is gonna
Read
make it
yours,
rhyme?
Jac'quese. I'm
Yeah,
prepared.
you read
I'm
your
ready.
bio. This is gonna be funny. Y'all should read each other's bio.
Wait,
You don't have a bio.
I was
Did
trying-
you write one? Y'all should read each other's bios.
It's your boy Yo Gotti.
Is that how it starts?
Yes. I'm sorry, I got a notification on Tinder.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to type it really
That is a funny
fast.
website.
Are y'all gonna read each other's
I have
bios,
to
or how
keep
y'all
it
gonna do
really.
this?
You can see. I wanted to make it rhyme, so do
Oh
it
my
that
goodness.
with the beat as you will. It's really short, you know.
This
It gives
is
a
a
real
lot.
synopsis of where I am right
Hold on.
now at this moment, and
Hold on, 'cause
if
I'm
you
finna
don't
change
know
your
me,
mind.
then hopefully this will
Hold
be
on,
a
real quick.
biography that
I got you and you got me. All right.
enlightens your mind.
I'm very like shook now because I mean I just assumed you niggas was not gonna have these.
All right.
You want to go first or me? I'll go first.
Oh, did you send yours too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
While it sends.
Okay, you can. Oh,
It's number 2.
You have multiple options.
No. sis.
okay. It's up to you.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Introducing.
Yeah, I don't have a soundboard.
My name is Queasy, and I'm from the Ville. Here with my nigga Bleezy. Keeping it real. Introducing Jac'quese.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Okay.
honored to be here. All right, you ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Introducing. Don't be ridiculous. I go by Miya, aka Shrimp, aka Khaleesi. I knew I was gonna hit it again. AKA Laderick, aka OG Shrimp-tastic, aka you know my mama, aka Bower Wower. I feel like I could have said that more like Snoop. Bower. That's E40. I'm trying to get
E40, right?
no, I'm trying to get Snoop. Bow Wower. AKA President Theodore Roosevelt.
What?
Again, I give you
Gang. That was wonderful, Jac'quese. I'm in tears.
Listen, I tried to
Oh
give you
my
everything I
gosh.
learned in my advanced drama class at
You're
Max.
So clearly the guests know all about you all now. They're so informed. on
What's
who
more to
you are.
know?
I think I gave it.
Right.
I think we did that.
So today we also have a
Fabulously.
special drink of the day provided by Queese. Queese, as you take a huge sip of the drink of the day, do you want to tell them about this very unique beverage that you provided us
Pretty
with?
unique. I can't
Oh my gosh, y'all. So listen, I had a whole plan, but I forget that the state that I live in does not do the same things that the state I am from does. So I thought I could go to the liquor store today, and it just didn't happen. So I'm really at a crossroads of telling you what we're drinking now versus what we were supposed to drink. Do you want to know what I had concocted in my mind? I mean, that you can recreate the recipe. It's still shareable. Or
do you want to put that in the universe, or do you want to? It's up to you.
I do. I would
Okay,
like for all of your many listeners. Don't you have listeners in like the west side of
like
these
Cali?
United States? Well, no, like we talked about, like there was one state, like I don't know people
Oregon.
from there.
Bro, Oregon
Was it
blew
Oregon?
my mind.
Yeah, I only know the Oregon Trail. So to everybody out there at the Oregon Trail, please get your
got
feather
like 2
pins.
listeners in Oregon, so please don't be offended. I
Shout out
greatly
to
appreciate you.
Portlandia. That's my show.
Oh yeah, people live there. Okay, get your feather pins.
Put a
and your
bird on
makeup
it.
together. So the drink you can remake, and one day I will make again when we come together. It was going to be called, since Miya had Booker T. Washington, and we had that common thing of Tuskegee, but I was really excited to come home, so I wanted to name mine the John Merritt Classic.
Oh, that's hard.
Okay,
hard.
so hear me, people.
This is actually appropriate for what we're drinking now, because I see plenty of these.
So this is the transition. This is you can use this as an alternate. Okay. So the ingredients were Jack Daniel's whiskey. That is the first whiskey I came to know and love, and so that is the base. Feel free to exchange it with Colt 45. That's what we are consuming at this moment, like real niggas. The second ingredient, this is where you have some options, but it is fruit tea from Nashville. So it could be the one from Knockout Wings. It could be the one from Seafood Sensation. It could be the one from Yo Church, because there's someone there.
Is fruit tea a like Nashville thing?
I think it's like a
South thing.
A South thing.
Okay.
But
South for the F.
I named some great options, and if you don't know how to make one, like ask your auntie.
Where you had Ashley's fruit tea?
What she put in it?
I don't know. She won't can tell me, but that shit is
I be
fire.
telling everybody what I put in my fruit tea, and maybe I should stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, she.
I have
will
a
not
cousin
tell
that
me.
will like beat me up about it.
I'll tell you guys the secret ingredient.
Oh, thank you.
It's
So
crack.
mine is another plug for a fruit tea component. And then after the fruit tea, the other piece was really just a garnish that made me think of my roots of Nashville. So my grandma, she lived on Hyatts Ferry, which is out north. And so she used to have mint in her garden. We would put it in our tea, and like our hot tea and our cold tea, be real fancy. And so I was like, that would be the garnish with it. So
I thought you was gonna say Purity Lemonade, because Nashville niggas love Purity Lemonade.
It's good.
Funny enough, this young man, every time I come home, like it's a given. Like I've definitely had Purity Lemonade with all my whiskey up until this point. So
Okay.
it's been happening, but I wanted to do something different, because I like tea in my like bourbons or brown. I like that, because we used to put it in our McDonald's sweet tea from Tuskegee. Because you could get such a big one. So, like, you just drink it down, and then you add in everything for a long time. Because, of course, anytime you see somebody, they're just going to pour more into your McDonald's cup. So
That's live.
Yeah. But that's it, y'all. Recreate the John Merritt Classic in your spare time.
We're definitely going to make that happen. But shout out to the Colt 45s we on now.
Yes.
And we definitely got to give a shout out to Walt coming down here for moral support.
Yep.
And holding us down.
The homie corn.
Encouraging all the foolishness I already know.
I thought these were a good exception. I told y'all about the story of getting them, which was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I end up drinking these with the homies to kick it every now and again. I like the can though. It's a lot smaller.
I wish I had a bag.
They didn't have those, which is what I looked for, and that's when that man was like, "You study wrong, you study long, you study wrong." I said, "Oh, okay." All right.
Well, look, the top 5 for this week was actually submitted by one of our listeners, Amir. Y'all shout out to Amir, and y'all can follow him on Twitter. He be showing his ass.
He came up with this?
Yeah.
So, you know?
No.
Oh, I think his Twitter name is @JohnDope, If I'm wrong,
that's his real name. Wait,
no, his Twitter name.
Oh,
I think that's his Twitter name. If it's not, then he'll probably tweet me and talk bad to me.
His
That's
real
fine.
name is John.
John Dope, not dope. Oh,
I need to meet the Not Dope family.
his top 5 for this week are the top 5 overrated movies.
This is the hardest thing I've ever thought of in my life.
It wasn't that hard. Like, it wasn't that hard.
Okay, well, y'all go first.
No, you're definitely going first.
No,
You're going
inspire me.
first.
Inspire me.
You've been here before.
Okay, I'll start it off.
Okay.
I mean, number 1 was super easy for me. Titanic. That shit's fucking trash.
Trash?
Trash.
Can you call a real instant, like a real moment in history, trash? Well, yes, you can.
I mean,
but
I was gonna say the
like-
Holocaust is trash. Slavery's trash.
shut the
like,
fuck
like, I
up.
got a lot
Like,
of the Pilgrims. Them some trash ass niggas.
Them niggas, okay?
so what? But you're literally talking about like the acting of it,
I mean,
the portrayal of that real
the
incident.
last scene alone is
That used to be
enough.
one of my best impersonations.
letting your nigga die.
Was Rose just the voice?
Oh,
Check. Wake up. Check. And sing.
Jack dead, bitch.
That
You
was
did- you
amazing,
let the nigga
Jac'quese.
on the fucking door.
I
That
wish
was
she was
a-
like clanking on the wood. Check.
He dead as hell.
Big ass door. Y'all retarded as hell.
I would have been just like,
It's loosely based on a true story. Are those characters are like fictional though, right?
I always thought they recreated that
They
love
better
story.
be.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
Yeah, I guess they got
Or
all
not
they
recreated,
business
but
in the
just-
street.
maybe
Next,
that.
and I think I've mentioned not fucking with this on here before, is The Color Purple. I don't fuck with
Yeah,
The Color
you have
Purple.
brought that up.
like that sad ass shit. That's just a terrible. Like it's probably not bad film wise. Like why are you pointing at me like this? Like that. Everything in that shit is just promote sadness. Like
Ooh, Miss Sophia home now.
it's just illiteracy, abuse, being poor, like racism. Like it's just like every
is a
bad
lot.
situation that could have been happening.
I am so entertained by all of it.
Number 3, I generally don't think that high. Like I don't think people think it's that good, so I don't really know if it's overrated. I just been on a like pissing off the Beehive wave, and I just saw that trailer on Twitter that's the same movie again and again, and they bring it out every year. Like
Oh, I know what
Obsessed
you're
and
talking
all that.
about.
But
Yeah.
Obsessed is my movie. My third one that's overrated.
We don't have to talk about that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We don't have to talk about her acting.
I mean, you know,
She is
some
intelligent.
truths need to be explored.
You
but
know, we don't have to go there.
yeah, I mean, we don't have to get into it, but it's there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
4 is Baby Boy, and I mean,
I almost put that on my list.
It is on mine.
niggas just be
almost put this on my list.
giving Baby Boy way too much credit.
Yeah.
Like
And the thing is, here lately they have not.
people have been slandering it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. It doesn't get
The
as many
opening
spins on
scene
BET
is like
anymore.
he's in a uterus, is he not?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's about to be born.
I think BET made it worse. Like it was already kind of
Yeah.
like, but BET.
That's what I'm
and
saying. I don't think they play it like they used to, but I also don't watch.
I really
BET,
wish I
so.
could remember off the top of my head what they said. Is one part where they have a voice edit over Snoop that is so bad. Like I gotta look that up
What
and
the
figure out.
funk you want?
Nah, it's way worse than that. It's
Oh
just
my
like, who the fuck
gosh,
thought
man.
this was a good idea?
Mother flipper.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
And then my last one is, nerd Twitter is just gonna spaz on me. But I don't really think it's bad, but people just like, it shouldn't be such a like strong presence in people's life. And that's Star Wars. Like, it's cool.
Go to hell.
We have our little moments. But
Go to hell.
Never seen a Star
I would
Wars
accept that before
movie.
saying it's overrated.
have you ever went to like anything on May the 4th?
I just tell the
Yes.
joke because I know a lot of people that like
Maybe I
it, and I'm all
have.
about a good joke. But
Well, people in my job like dress up.
It's important.
It's not fucking important.
It is important.
It's not important.
no one's ever dressed up. But I do know
I'm about to
people
pass
that
out.
are excited to say, "May the 4th be with you."
Oh, it's
I do
like
know
a
that.
huge
But I've never
thing.
seen
It is
any Star
important.
Wars movie, so I'm not as in. I'm indifferent because I've never seen it.
You
So I can't
respect
say.
the Force and everything that it deals with.
It's cool. Like it's a cool series. I'll watch the movies, but I mean, it's a little over the top.
How would you know?
I've watched them.
All of them?
I ain't like this new stuff.
Okay, thanks.
I ain't really been
Thanks.
able to piece together
Thank
the
you.
timeline.
Thanks. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Quiz, you want to go next?
Please, because I'm not done.
You can still working on their list.
Oh, you give me
Okay.
those?
Okay, so I liked what you said earlier. I feel like I based my overrated movie list off. It's not that I don't necessarily watch them sometimes, but I really don't get the gas. I really don't. Okay. Ooh, so my number one is Love Jones.
Bro, I'm gonna get slandered for this because it seems like every episode there's something I haven't seen. I've never seen Love Jones.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I don't not like it, but I guess there's just so many other, for me, like black romantic
When
comedies
it came out,
that I could watch. I mean,
what year did it come out?
I mean, I don't know.
but I will say this: I bought the Love Jones soundtrack CD. Like I'm love that, but
I feel like when it came out, my
It's
sister was on
overrated.
this whole, oh, we finna be grown, midnight love type grown. So I'm finna listen to this in the miseducation of Lauryn Hill all the time.
All day.
So here I am, like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, okay.
It's just not something
This is just what
I
we
run
on.
to watch on a rainy day with like.
What is
candles
the
lit and
premise
shit.
of Love Jones?
You get with a nigga,
Y'all
y'all
break up. You live your life while y'all break up, and then
realize y'all want each other back.
and boom.
Oh, I see how they just took off with that one.
Yeah.
Like, what
It's some other shit in between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's some great scenes or whatever, but like,
That nigga from Drumline in it.
Which nigga
Yeah.
from Drumline?
Big
The
Brother
bald
Tin
nigga?
Man. Yes.
I didn't like that nigga at all.
I understand why you wouldn't like him in Drumline.
I mean, but I don't think his acting career ever really popped off, seeing as how he was in Drumline 2. Like, he was a starring role in Drumline 2.
I don't
At
know what
that
that. I don't know what Drumline 2 is. We don't want to discuss that.
You never
didn't
seen
watch
that?
it. I didn't watch it.
I don't know what that is. Never heard of her.
Is this a lying to yourself situation? Because, I mean, I would like to sit and watch it with you. Because
No,
that shit is terrible.
I don't.
I didn't watch it.
I never heard of the girl.
Y'all know that? I didn't. This might be one of those things that everybody knows, but I didn't know Drumline was based on, was it Dallas Austin?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Yeah,
it was based
I
on
didn't-
his life.
I didn't
I
know
knew
that.
that.
And Kim Porter.
I
I didn't know about Kim Porter though.
I didn't know either. Maybe I did when it came out. I don't feel like it was like that far fetched. I was like, oh, but I didn't remember
You
it.
know my weird ass research.
Well, that's like your
Well, in
favorite
the second
movie.
one, it makes sense because he comes
Literally.
back. Nick Cannon comes back, and he's like a big music producer, and so it's a big deal that he's come back.
I don't know what that second one
Oh.
Makes sense.
I've never seen it, so.
It's that shit is awful.
is. Yeah, we don't.
So my number 2 and my number 5.
Wait,
Well,
Wait, what?
remember I was saying I broke the rules, so both of them will be breaking the rules in this way. So my number 2 is a series of movies that I think are overrated.
Oh, okay. I'm
scared.
following.
Harry Potter.
wow, just shoot me in the heart.
My nigga, whoa.
I never got
Look,
into
let's just
the
relax. Everybody
books.
calm down.
I couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't get into Harry Potter.
Wait,
So I
that's
just
2
feel
through
like,
5 is all Harry
Jesus Christ!
Potter?
because I like the first one.
Niggas is crazy.
Then I feel like it went too far. No, I'm playing. I never got into the book, so I never got into the hype. Like I know how big Harry
Nigga,
Potter
that shit
is for
was
our
so
generation.
good,
Like
It's hard.
I remember reading the first one like in carpet time, like in 4th grade, like with our teacher at the beginning of reading class. Like that's what we did at Warner. So like I get it, but I guess I didn't get into it. So I was like, yeah. So every time another one would come out, and everybody be racing to get the book, and then super hyped for the movie, I was like, I mean, I'm glad for Harry. It seemed like he was doing well to make it that far. But I wasn't as invested to be like, oh shit, let me go dress up and go see Harry Potter. Like that just wasn't it for me. So
I don't know. That last movie had me a
pretty
little
overrated.
teary.
I couldn't get into that series. So that was my number 2. My number 3 is Frozen.
It's Frozen. Oh, kids do love
Now
Frozen.
and see, I work with kids, so that's the
Oh,
premise.
yeah.
I do work with kids, and when Frozen first came out, oh my goodness, and even now because I heard
Are
there's
your
a
kids
Frozen.
young like that?
Yeah, we serve all the way down to 6.
Oh, okay.
So it's 6 through 18 now. I focus on teens. I work with 13 and up. But the babies, it was on their shirts and their bags and they sing that song all the time. And then I finally watched it on a plane, and I was like,
That's it.
Do you want to make us know?
nigga, there's so many like there are throwbacks.
Abandonment
that were
issues,
so
all
much
that.
better than that. Like it was hype, and Frozen was hype.
They tried to compare that girl to
I thought
Lion
that was
King.
going to be my new favorite Disney film. Like, I was going to want to learn all the songs. I haven't watched it since then.
Since the moment.
That one time on the plane. Like, that was my number 3. Okay. See, I feel really... I'm stressed about my list because I'm not a big movie person in general. I am, but if I catch it in the theater, cool. If it's a hood classic, cool. But like...
That's sad.
Or I'll watch stuff and I'll be like, okay, I know this is a big thing, so I should watch it. This is like a classic. And then I watch it, I'm like, I guess I should have watched it back in the day. Yeah. This number 4 is like that because I just watched it for the first time this summer and I was not wholly impressed.
I'm nervous.
I feel like the streets are going to be upset. Maybe. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, my nigga, you tripping.
Wow.
Yo, listen,
I'm offended.
What?
Pulp Fiction. I think I felt that way because, for one, I was so hyped to finally watch. I'd never seen it. Okay. So I think maybe I even overhyped myself. And I watched it a couple times because...
You were like, no, I'm missing
I watched it a couple times because when I watched it, I was on a cruise. And, you know, if you've been on a cruise, they loop movies like for maybe 2 days at a time, 3 days at a time. And so, like, I had... multiple times. Like when I would come to it and I would watch it, make sure like I'm really paying attention. And I mean, it was cool. I don't hate it. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Like I like it.
Oh, okay. I get
but
what you're saying.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't deem it a classic.
If Pulp Fiction was on, I'd probably watch it again because I'm like, dang, I don't know if I remember everything. Like, sorry. And then this one is like number 2. So it's not a series of movies. It's a common thread. Sorry.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Sorry, y'all.
Right, like
Can we go back?
Like...
I did give this like this is not my space for real. If you know, this is not my space. Anything, and I do have a specific movie, but anything for real with Will Ferrell.
I ain't mad at that.
I specifically put Step Brothers. But it's Will Ferrell movies in general.
Okay, so here's the thing. Will Ferrell to me is overrated.
Step
Brothers, on the other hand,
is not.
Yeah, I fuck with Step Brothers.
I couldn't get into it. I don't.
But I'll give you that. It took me a while to like finally watch it, and then I watched it.
You still gotta be lit, and then that shit is just so funny. Like, wait, what about what's Ricky Bobby? Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Hilarious.
That one funny.
That one was.
But there's a lot of them like the ice skating one that wasn't really funny to me, or the
dodgeball one.
Was he in dodgeball?
Is that him? That could be something. I thought he was in that.
That's
one.
like Vince Vaughn or somebody, isn't it?
Doesn't he like play against him? No,
that's Ben Stiller.
That he plays against?
Yeah, isn't it Ben Stiller?
It could be.
Yeah,
I don't really watch movies like it. So,
but yeah, Miya is still over here working on this list.
Got 4 guys. Don't want to tell you.
Give you 4.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you ready? All right. I also had Baby Boy, so that's number 1. Number 2, Scarface.
No, I liked that one.
I like it, but I'm just like.
But that's a good movie.
It's a good ass movie.
That's a good movie. I like cartel and drugs. I do. Oh my god, series movies. I like all of that because that's real. That shit be real.
It was like I was good on it, maybe like 45 minutes in.
There's so much more to go.
Right,
I know.
It don't get turned
my
until like halfway
goodness.
through.
And I didn't feel like, personally, I just didn't feel like sitting through it. And I liked the movie. It's just, why did it take me so long to...
It builds up.
I feel it. As long as you can watch it. A lot of times I'll watch it, but probably just take a nap.
Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, that Bad Boy... Okay, I broke a rule. I said a scene. I'm going to do a scene. That Bad Boys 2 scene when they were...
I know you never say with Reggie.
Is that the young man's name?
Yes. Nigga, what? Miya.
I want everybody to know that is worse than anything that I could have said.
Miya, that shit is hilarious.
That whole movie is hilarious.
I think it's funny, but man, some people just really be like...
Nigga, you look 30.
Okay.
That might be the only
Who
part
is this?
I like.
What?
What? That might be the only part
Bro,
you
when
like?
Will Smith Walker playing drunk.
Oh, God.
when he's in the TV
my
store.
God.
I couldn't
That's
do
crazy.
it. I couldn't.
Wait,
do
are you
it.
saying the whole movie? Or you saying just
no,
that
just
scene?
that scene.
Oh, just that scene.
It made me. I don't know why. It just made me feel uncomfortable.
You know they doing a Bad Boys 3?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I can't wait. I love Will Smith. Hey,
I
Will
mean,
Smith, if you
I'm
listen to
very-
this.
They finna be old as hell. So what kind of crime they finna fucking solve?
Let's like
I
go dance
hope
battle
they
people on the
like
street.
don't try and be like we're still young or like I don't want it to be set 6 months later or something like.
Come on. Now.
It needs to be like
Let's be
established
honest.
that we are old.
We're finna celebrate somebody's 50th birthday to begin with. We finna set it off. Niggas
Oh,
are
yeah, that'd be
retired.
hard if
Oh,
one
that
of
would
them
be
makes
hard.
lieutenant and the other one doesn't.
Or if one retired, like even though we didn't see it, they really retired, but now they have to come back. I
that
don't know.
would be hard. What
Okay,
you got left?
and number 4.
Mm.
We could also do number 5 too. But all the Fast and Furious movies.
I've never seen any of them. I know.
My nigga,
I know.
like,
I know. I know.
I feel like you have to be intentional to
No.
not see any of
This
them.
is
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm
I
not good at
saw,
movies. I
like-
usually say if there's been like a sequel, a triple, like if it's a series, if it's a Marvel thing, if it's like that's just not what I want.
You don't follow
I
it.
really haven't followed, and especially if they've gotten to the third, fourth, fifth. I didn't even jump in because I'm like, wow.
I'm too far gone.
Child,
It's
Like,
first
too-
of all,
it's too
I
late.
started on the second. Didn't even start on the first.
See, I feel like I
So
gotta
I
see
started
the
with
first.
Too
I
Fast,
want to
Too
see the one with
Furious.
Bow Wow. Isn't he in that?
Terrible. That was horrible.
I think that's the worst
Tokyo-
one. But I
is that
really like
Tokyo
Tokyo
Drift?
Drift
yeah.
with that
What was that, like
country nigga.
8? Number
Yeah,
7?
I think
that was-
Tokyo Drift
that
is, I
was
think,
3.
unanimously the worst
Oh,
one.
was it that early in the game?
Regardless, horrible.
Bow Wow
I
was
just-
a good actor in that. I think he did his thing, honestly.
Like in like Mike?
I think it was a better showing than like Mike.
That's interesting.
Or Roll Bounce?
Nah, he body roll bounce.
I was finna say Oscar-worthy performance.
That when he hit that car, honey, with that bad boy.
He
When they was
felt that.
frying him when he was taking out the trash.
Ah,
That boy got stretched.
R.I.P.
pants.
to Charlie.
That boy got stretched pants.
They fried his
R.I.P. to Charlie Murphy.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
Right.
Rest in peace, who?
Charlie Murphy.
Oh, yeah. Bro, it's certain things, and we just finished our top 5, so...
Thank you, because I did not have a last
Wait, I thought you had. Oh, you didn't have a fifth
one.
one?
Sister, that was it.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's good that we finna go down this rabbit hole, but...
I'm on program.
I
I'm
know
going
you're
with
not
the
finna
flow.
say what I think you finna say.
No, well, I just think there's sometimes, like... I'm just always taken back by, like, things in 2018 or just in current day where shit be bullshit and we just let it rock. Like, everybody was like, oh, I was so happy to see him in Power, Charlie Murphy, that is. He looked awful. Like, that shit, I was like, this is not good. Like, this does not look okay. He should not be doing this. And then we gonna kill him. What is wrong with y'all? Like, y'all know this man is clearly not doing well. Let's write him out a little better than that. He couldn't have got fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have just framed him for something.
No, they just up and do it. I guess I'm behind on Power.
Jesus Christ. Jac'quese don't watch nothing.
I do.
You want to talk.
That should have been a
True.
top 5. Like if you want to talk about the things I am watching right now, I'm getting my hoots.
What are you
and
watching
my-
right now?
Right now, I just started The Rookie. Have y'all heard of
Is
that
that with
show?
that old cop?
Yeah,
that is like,
he
yeah.
starts. Yeah, he joins the LAPD, but
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah. It's
40.
the black chick as his partner.
Yeah. So I've watched that. It's good. New Amsterdam. Oh my goodness.
It's cheap vodka. What, like,
Okay, I was like,
I don't know what
yuck.
you're talking about.
Where do you?
I hate you, niggas.
I was gonna say,
What?
what are you mixing with it?
It comes on after This Is Us, which I watch as well.
This is us.
It's fire.
They need a theme song, and that should be it.
This is the voice.
Does This
That's
Is
what
Us
that
have a
made me
theme
think
song?
of.
No,
No.
this is us.
That made me think of
You
This
really
Is the
just-
Voice. I am watching The Voice this year. I've never done that before. But
You're not going to make it past like round
the
2.
only other show I'm like,
Niggas do not make it past round 2
Listen.
watching The Voice.
listen, I don't know why I decided. I think because I really like Kelly Clarkson. I really like Jennifer Hudson. So I just watch them. But the only thing I'm really keeping up with and watching is Cool Kids with David Allen Greer and what's my girl name? She used to be
Them old niggas.
on that show. Yeah, the old niggas. Because the shows I really want to watch, for some reason my Apple TV won't give me access. Like I can watch all the others that are part of my access, but I can't watch what's that Cedric the Entertainer show?
The neighborhood.
The Neighborhood?
I don't know that. I don't
The
know if
Neighborhood.
I've been
good.
trying to watch that. I watched
I heard
Rel.
good reviews.
I watched
just
Rel.
haven't
I'm
Is
watched
trying.
real good?
it. Yeah.
That
It
pilot
be
was
funny.
terrible.
Just It's really hard for me to articulate what I feel about real.
It's
Like,
real Chicago.
I love the Carmichael show.
Real
love
Chicago.
it. And
Like the Carmichael show, it's kind of like that, but it's
I
not
don't think you can say that because
it's put together as the Carmichael show.
yeah, because if you say the Carmichael show, you're gonna be expecting Carmichael's humor
Type content or the humor?
and this is Rail. Now Carmichael's a part of it, but Rail. What I think it is, they just need a little more
said
chemistry.
that in the interviews,
It's gonna be different. Like it's not
And it is different.
terrible, but I just think it needs a little more time and a little more like.
It got the potential.
Rail has his he's just got to get his voice
They
out.
did something that I think people are starting to speak on more and more, which is all these IG people like Just Hilarious is like the
but
biggest supporting
I feel like
actress.
you would know that she has like a comedic talent, like
She's
as what
so
she-
bad on that show.
which
Well, and I've only seen the pilot. Well, I think I've seen 2 episodes to be fair. But I mean, like, she was so fucking bad, and I was just like,
yeah.
"Damn, this is not good."
I just
And it kind of shows you, like, as much as people hate on Tiffany Haddish, like
Yeah, she-
her role
she
on
does
the
her
Carmichael show, you could tell like she was at least somewhat polished. Like even though she was just being a nigga like she always is, like.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a nigga.
But still, like in her role, she was killing it. Like you could tell that she has some, I guess, familiarity with this nigga's body in this Code 45. Like body in that bitch.
Hey. Wow, y'all killing me.
I do this a lot. I hang with somebody from California. I do this a lot.
But yeah, you can just tell Just Hilarious is an
What
IG
you watching?
comedian.
Yeah.
This Is Us. So I started The Sopranos.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and so I'm on like halfway through season 2.
That gentleman died, didn't he?
He did. And what's fucked up is, he died of a heart attack. And so
Ain't that how he?
please chill out. So
That's how rumors get started, bro.
So anytime you have a show like that that's that timeless and you're like watching it late, especially things like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad, there's all these forums and discussions you can research. And so I've noticed he was starting to get bigger, and so I was curious. I was like, is he getting bigger, or is the the actual role getting bigger, or is the actor getting bigger? And so I was looking it up, and he said the actor actually, like, his health was getting bad, and so he started losing a lot of weight, and he came back for, I think, season 3. And the director of the show was like, "No, I need you to put that weight back on. In fact, I need you to get bigger."
Oh no.
Because Tony Soprano needs to get bigger.
He's a big man.
And so the director says he like bothers him all the time, that he feels guilty. Like,
I feel
Duh, murderer.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
that's fucked up. That's
Killer.
But that's some fucked up guilt. Like,
yeah, but that's
Good. You should feel bad.
I
son of a
think
bitch.
about that,
He was
like-
good. He was getting better.
what was that movie? I guess it was. I just watched it too. That Denzel movie where he was a lawyer, and didn't he have to like gain a
Gain
lot of
weight.
weight for that? Like,
He
I
looked
don't
a
know
hot
if
ass
I
mess in that
could.
movie.
what are y'all talking about?
He was some
It's
lawyer
like
with that
something
nigga from.
what's his name? Something J. Yes, something J.
Esquire.
P.J.
Yeah, it's like a
Sherman.
little
That's
fro,
not it.
PJ Morton.
J.
The movie was
Sherman.
Sherman.
Yeah, I missed
P-
this. Is
Sherman.
this an older movie?
No, he literally was
Wallaby Way.
nominated for an Oscar for it just last season, wasn't he?
I think it was last year it came out.
Missed that one.
Come on, Walter, with the facts.
Yeah, but like he was. That's when he was walking around looking like somebody's granddaddy and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
he looked. a
he was
hot
basically
ass
doing
man.
that role, but like you could tell
Oh,
unless
that's
those
what he-
suits were just really big. Like I feel like
No, that
he probably
nigga
had
was
to
big.
get. Could y'all
Damn.
do that? Like if you were if that was your.
I'm a bigger nigga, so I'm straight. Like
But what?
I'm not getting no bigger for a role. Like that shit is.
I wish I could
Y'all
get bigger
got
for
me
a role,
fucked
but
up.
I wouldn't be able to.
They told you we need you to be wall suckers.
Oh, like drop the weight. I would do that. I mean, because that would be helping me versus like hurting myself.
I don't know if I'm physically able to be like to be the same.
I don't know if
I
I'm
don't know.
physically
I
able
don't
to be
know.
that damn small. Like I
We
would.
need you to be as big as I don't know what you want me to do, bro.
Sad.
I just seen Mose the other day, and shout out to Mose. He got help.
Jennifer
getting
Hudson.
changed.
Skinny Minaj.
That nigga stood up the other day
Damn,
and turned to
Skinny
the side and was
Minaj.
gone.
Dang.
That nigga just disappeared. I said, "What the fuck?"
Jennifer Hudson.
Bro, I was like, I didn't even know if I could do that.
What is,
Skinner for Love Hewitt.
okay.
Bruh, yeah, that shit was crazy.
Slim Jimmy.
But I am really proud of him for that.
Benjamin Banneker.
I can hear him now, man.
Yeah,
Man, chill out,
Niggas
chill
got
out.
jokes. I can't-
Yeah,
Oops, my bad.
I don't even know what we were talking about.
No,
We're talking about shows we were
You watching
watching.
Sopranos.
Oh,
and what
The
else?
Sopranos, This Is Us,
This is us.
the Mayans, MC.
Did y'all see that movie? That was a movie. It was
So
like,
this is probably very much so different. Have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy?
what? Nigga, I told you I watched cartel stuff. I watched all of that.
So you
and
know
like,
the Mayans gang on Sons of Anarchy have their own show now called Mayans MC.
you just put me on. I will not tell you that, sons. I don't trust niggas on motorcycles to this moment, nigga. Like, I'm like, oh, you're moving weight. You have guns. The rest of them are about to
so-
show
What
up.
y'all niggas
Y'all are
do?
about to take somebody's truck. Like, mamas is getting shot. Daddies is getting shot. Babies is going. It does. That was an amazing show. Like,
I mean, Mayans is doing pretty well. Like,
do you watch Queen of the South?
No, I think
Queen
Raven
of the
does.
South.
She's a real one.
Yeah, I think Raven watches that.
Shout out to
Shout out
Mrs.
to-
Bleezy.
Shout out to Ray not being here. We ain't got to worry about no
Beyonce.
interruptions.
When I tell you when
Beyonce.
she popped, she popped in that last episode. I literally.
Raven really,
This her show.
99.5% of my life, she's
This
super
her
supportive.
show.
When I get on this podcast, have you seen the Be His Peace memes?
Yeah.
She just turns into all of them. Like, just be really like me, just disruptive and just.
You need to be her piece.
I am her piece. And I don't just be
Are
an
you sure?
asshole when she started working those things.
I too, Raven, am sad that we didn't get to see them franchise
This your
boys at the
show?
So Def concert.
I do stand corrected. That was a good ass
I would have
lineup.
thoroughly enjoyed that. But
Most of them niggas need to
the
be on the stage for one
Mayans.
song.
What channel does the Mayans come on?
FX.
Of course.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
have FX now, which I'm mad
Um,
because why won't y'all put Atlanta on there? You
It's not. Oh, like from the beginning.
lint liquors. Yes,
I want them to do the same thing for
I couldn't come up with anything else.
Snowfall. I want them to do that.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, I got behind and now I can't find
Just watch
it.
it illegally.
But there's it's
Oh, I
just-
probably should just pirate from somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, and lastly, Narcos Mexico.
watch that too.
I just started it. Like I'm like
watch that too.
30 minutes into the
So
whole.
think about
Like,
you
I
just gotta pay
started.
super
Fresh.
because it like Narcos is all in
I mean, you got to read.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Like you can't be tired and want to watch that. You can't because you will have to win the
So
thing
so
back.
y'all don't be watching anime?
My kids watch it. I'm trying to get on my Naruto. I'm trying to get on it. Some of my kids, they're really big into anime, so I'm trying.
Bro, anime seems like I'm supposed to enjoy it, but I'm just at that age
Did you ever
where
have
I'm not.
Pokemon
Bruh.
cards back in the day? Did you do
I
that?
did the Pokemon thing, and I
Okay.
definitely did the Dragon Ball Z thing.
Did you Digimon?
I did Digimon as a kid. Like, it was never like, I was never obsessive, but I'm going to get up on Saturday and watch that shit. Oh, Dragon Ball Z, I was obsessed.
I never really got into Pokemon.
Yeah.
All the cute niggas in school used to draw Goku.
The guy used to draw my ass off.
Mm.
And then I had homies who could draw better than me. Shout out to Jari. And I would like borrow without asking their drawings so I could practice. One time,
would you trace them?
One time, Jari came to the house and was like, "My nigga, these are mine." And I was like, "Ah, damn, this shit crazy."
So you're not only a thief but a dumb thief.
Bro, I remember that. Jari a real nigga because he still rocked with me. I appreciate that.
So you're watching anime.
Yeah.
What anime are you watching?
Naruto.
Is that still like new? Like, are there still new
The
episodes?
kids said.
I'm starting from
I
the
think there's like
beginning.
some different
Because
generations.
when I started
Ah.
like 5 years ago,
Damn,
wasn't
nigga,
as
you
good.
watch anime that long? I'm so uncultured.
I be
Wait,
like,
when you started 5 years ago, you started Naruto 5 years ago?
no. I started watching like with my friends like in the middle. So now I started from the beginning because I recently watched an episode and I was just like, I love the drama because that's what anime is, drama. It's basically like
Do you watch the one with Jaden Smith? Isn't Jesus and Meryl, don't they do voices on there too?
Whoa, all these people
it's
are on
funny.
anime?
it's interesting.
Yeah, so Jaden Smith is like the star character, right?
Yeah.
And then Jesus and Meryl, I don't know what capacity they're in on there.
Of which anime show?
What is it called? Neo Yokio. Something like that.
Neo.
It's like New York.
No.
I see
Nokia.
that.
He in Drew Hill.
What?
You know he got a baby with Angie Martinez
Nokia.
Nokia.
Wasn't that his name?
from Drew Hill, yeah.
With Angie Martinez.
Like Nokia. Is that not?
Yeah, but it
Just
was
was
supposed to,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
apparently that's
Yes,
one of the members.
nigga.
Who y'all know niggas' names in Drew Hill not named Cisco?
Yeah, Woody,
What's
And the big
nigga's
one,
name?
Woody,
yeah, Woody, Nokio.
Frank,
It's probably a
Frank is one of them named
Charles.
Frank for real.
Charles.
You know Frank gonna be a singing ass nigga with a raspy voice. He got a drinking problem
He
though.
is the tenor.
Damn, and it's like that other nigga name, and I swear I used to know his name, and I cannot think of it. There was a time when. Yeah, I be watching that. I watch My Hero Academia. That is a good show.
Is that anime?
Yes, talk about dramatics.
Oh,
Okay,
I realized that.
One Punch Man, is that in that one too?
Body.
Somebody I know really likes that one. I don't remember who.
but other than that, I watch The Walking Dead. Obviously, I watch.
I admire Maya's collection.
Oh,
of
Rick
shows.
dies. Rip to Rick. Oh,
he-
you're not that far.
Does he die?
My bad.
Does he die?
Play as fuck up.
No, I'm caught up.
Oh,
But
I
the-
mean,
But is
I
he
gave
dead?
up on that shit when them niggas was like, I was like, okay, these niggas
A lot
should
of people
be
give
dead.
up, but I feel like you should just keep watching.
These niggas should be dead.
A lot of niggas should be dead.
Okoye done went over to Wakanda.
First off,
Look,
Michonne, thank you.
fuck Michonne. She done brought her ass to
Ooh,
Wakanda.
don't you do that? Don't you do that?
And they done let her really prosper. They done changed her into a thought on Walking Dead.
No, she is not a
She
thought.
a thought.
No, she's not.
All right.
Oh, you watch
Don't do her.
Bro, this
Is
show
that
should be
anime?
over. Like there's certain
You know, I don't do well with slander, so we just don't have to do
there's
that.
certain
Isn't
shows that
Flanders-
should come to an end. Like the world coming to an end and everybody becoming zombies should have some conclusion to it.
How?
Niggas should die.
So write it up.
They ain't wrote 150 million episodes. They don't need me to come in and write
Give
it.
a suggestion.
Maya, what else are you watching?
So I watched The Walking Dead. I watched This Is Us, American Horror Story. This season, whoa.
I've heard this is a good season of American Horror Story.
It's like I be having to pray after every episode.
Oh, not for me. Okay. I'm not gonna watch it.
It's like I know I'm not into demonic things, but I'm just be like, Lord, you know I ain't with this, right? You gotta make sure. So it's good. It ended well for me. But
was gonna come right
that and then my friend, I wouldn't say friend. This nigga I know, his name is Davey. He's on a
I know, Jesus.
I knew she was gonna say something like that.
that's my big sister.
Davey's
He's
the
on
homie.
Survivor. And let me tell you,
One,
you want to
it
talk
ain't
about
one.
drama. I don't know why these shows are giving me all the drama I've needed. Love and Hip Hop ain't got shit on Survivor because them niggas be going through it and they be in the middle of nowhere.
How does Survivor work? That's essentially like there's a challenge each week. You complete the challenge and one person goes away.
Essentially.
Okay.
And then there's other things.
So he's
added
been
to
on
it.
here for a minute. He's made it pretty far, right?
Your boy is surviving.
So
I did a thing.
Niggas is ugly. So wait. How,
Damn.
what are we down to? Like 5 people?
Hell no. It's like 10.
Goddamn. Like how many people be on the island? This shit been on a minute.
It's been on a minute.
25?
It's a lot of niggas. And they
I
be
mean-
coming, they be going.
We not really abandoned if we got a whole community. Like 25 is a good amount of people.
you
You're
think,
abandoned as a
you
community together.
but your boy was looking regular and he came back looking like a crackhead. We thought he went to rehab. So
That was just her.
he was there for a long
She
time.
childish.
So shout out to Davey. Rickenbacker.
I said my 1881. Hopefully the people said OL.
Oh my
Hope
God.
y'all niggas
It's a
caught
gang.
that. Gang.
Walter's in the gang.
God, he was one too.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's not it. Oh, I'll be watching old episodes of Lucas Brothers Moving Company.
I was gonna say I watch Big Mouth sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And there's this show. There's this show I watch on.
I don't know
technically-
what y'all talking about at all. Like
Wow.
none of this
It's
stuff.
like you're on crack.
Yeah, they're like.
Oh wait, is
are
that those
cartoons.
kids? That shit is crazy.
Like outrageous.
That shit is so.
It's ridiculous.
Started that shit and I couldn't.
It's worth
keep
it
up.
though.
I was like, these motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah,
I be watching BoJack Horseman too, cause
I
depression.
never watched that, but
Whoa, it's like you feel sorry
like
for him,
to.
and then you start to see some shit that's wrong with him and yourself, and you be like, whoa, let me just press
a
pause.
show I like YouTube.
BoJack
binge.
Horseman?
Yeah, it's like a cartoon. You can watch it on Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix
A show I
original.
YouTube binged for a little while was One on One. I was feeling real nostalgic, so I did that for a little while.
Where were you watching 101?
On YouTube.
You can watch Smart Guy on there too.
Like all the
Really?
seasons is on there.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Jason Weaver. Jason Weaver Hive up in this
Are we
bitch.
drifting?
A legend.
Are we drifting you off the program? Because I'm trying.
Dude, I haven't even like.
I'm trying to be
gotten
aligned.
into any of
Oh
this
my
shit.
God.
We like an
Oh.
hour in. We just been talking, but I mean, I've been really enjoying it.
No.
Niggas gonna be at the computer like, what are these
Because
niggas
I didn't
talking
appreciate that you
Nothing.
said we were gonna derail anyway.
Well, we kind of hit on gentrification when we were talking about Stratford,
Mm.
which y'all trying to tell me is a magnet school.
Mm.
a STEM. Man, they're coming for you, MLK niggas. They're coming for you.
So there's like some developer. I don't remember where he's from. I want to say Chicago.
Probably California.
Who's supposed to be doing like major like development all through. Like there's gonna be like
It just makes
stores over there,
Yeah.
which is gonna be
It
weird.
is.
I
so-
mean, sis, put a Target over there. I fuck with it.
A
But
Target, that would be crazy.
it would be nice.
it,
But
it surely would actually.
But gentrification is so weird because it's just like, I mean, I guess you are just so out of touch with that community. But I just can't imagine being like, yeah, I'm finna come over here, kick these motherfuckers out, and just start building shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a yucky feeling.
I can't I don't know what's worse sometimes. Like I know you guys are here, and so like you literally as it's happening, like see these new homes and these new developments, like or these businesses come into our areas and communities and stuff. And like every time I come home, it's
looks
like
different.
what is
yeah.
this? Like
Right.
where did this come from?
It looks
Like
so
and
different.
it doesn't even seem like there's that much time between my visits where I'm like, oh wow, so y'all just put up like all of these homes. Like literally have not lived here in 10 years.
Would
That is
y'all-
crazy.
yeah, that's about the same time, or a little less amount of time since I've lived here, that's still crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. But do y'all have like a number? Like if y'all had a house, because that's what it really be. If y'all had a house and somebody came to you and was like, "Look, here go a meal. Get the fuck out." A meal. A meal.
If my grandparents still had that house and I was the sole, if I had that responsibility over the house, no, you would not
Yeah.
get that money.
Same. If it was the house I like, not where me and my mom live now in Ashland City, but if it was the house I grew up in out east, like I know for a fact that when we moved out, that house was under $100,000 in worth. But now East Nashville, that's the basketball is right off Shelby.
say
What?
it's worth
No.
$125,000, and somebody walks in and was like, "I'll give you a meal."
No, I want my house.
I want my house.
Because knowing now that I don't have the house, I know that I want my house.
And
I
that
want to
property
live right there.
I want to be right
wonder
there in the
how
mix
they-
of everybody else.
I wonder how they target people because
My sister's
you knock on my
grandfather.
door and say, "Here's a meal." I'm like, "Yes."
My sister's grandfather, he's in South Nashville, and they constantly come to his house, and they're like, "Come on, man, we got this nice checks in for you." Every other house surrounding him is newly built. It's one of those tall and skinny, some ugly looking shits,
Right.
and his house has been looking the same since it was built. And he's like, "If y'all don't get the hell off my property, I don't have time for this.
Stay
I
off
want to
my
live in the house that I've been
freaking
in
grass."
this whole time."
I think I got that tradition and that loyalty to me until about 750. Then you know what I'm saying. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Get your shit together.
My mama, my mama wasn't even born here or nothing. You know what I'm saying? This only been around
See,
one generation.
I think that's why if I still was in that house I grew up, like my grandmother bought that.
Oh,
house.
okay.
And then
Yeah.
like we lived like, and same for her. Like she's talking about like her grandmother's house. Like these were, staple.
The only reason why we're
homes.
not there is because it flooded out.
Mm.
That's the
Oh,
only
that
reason
house.
why.
Okay.
I want that great location.
Great location.
Granny straight. A meal. I'm cool. Yeah.
You know what?
It's
cool.
different for you. I get it, but
You would need more than a meal?
I mean, a meal of spending money.
Oh, I feel what you're saying. So for listeners,
else paid. Like I don't want to have to worry about trying to find a new place. I want that taken care of on top of my meal.
for the
And
listeners,
I got some student loans y'all can take care of too while we at it.
All right.
If y'all got cash, y'all
All
can
right,
take care of
Corn.
it.
All right.
Take care of
Thank
it.
you.
I'm talking big boy shit, but if I thought my house was gonna get tore down and they were gonna like put a Starbucks there. I mean, my neighborhood is not that, but if they were, I do think that would fuck with me a little bit. Like,
I'm wondering what they're gonna do to that old area that I was in.
It's weird. Like it's a weird position for them to want to invest so much money because it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Nashville about to get a soccer team. You about to be on the map, man.
We got a soccer team, don't we?
Yes. What other topics do we have today?
I normally try and do like a real smooth transition with the punch in, but
Nah,
I'm just
fuck that.
like, yeah,
Fuck that.
niggas is thankful and shit. We just came off of Thanksgiving. But we were talking about gentrification and shit, and then I was like, all right, I'm really being lazy. But typically what I was going to try and do was take the gentrification conversation and like transition it to the growth on a personal level. But, I mean, nah.
How niggas have grown.
I'm not really finna do that.
I mean, I think it just one way you could do it is like it has opened my eyes. I know like this flight situation or like this gentrification or going to areas, it's not new, but it's interesting that we are at an age that it directly affects our moves as we progress and things like that. So for it to, as someone that considers like coming back to Nashville, sometimes like I really think twice sometimes about the neighborhood or the area I want to go to.
Oh, you think
because
like
it's not like
gentrification deters you from wanting to come?
No. There's way other things that deter me from wanting to come back. Because gentrification is happening in Columbus. Like I see it as someone that's just lived there, for the years that I have. So I see it happening in other places besides home. But it is weird to see it at home. That's why I was like, I don't know if it's tougher for me as someone who, every 6 months or so when I come home, I'm like, oh,
you just
wow.
see the direct boom.
But yeah, the
versus
boom
the
of it.
process
You're
of
seeing it like, oh, shoot. Like, I see that for sale sign, then whoop. It's sold, and then whoop. Like, now there's this skinny house and, this tall white man in an Adidas tracksuit, like, in his paper. I just saw that. Like, literally over
Down
there
the
off
street.
Whites Creek.
That's
Like,
wild.
down the street.
What do you think Amazon is gonna do? Like,
see, we just got one too in Columbus, so we got a second one.
is it already like? How far are y'all in that process? Has this just been announced like here or?
I think because this for the second one, I've always said like I personally feel Columbus is maybe 4 or 5 years ahead of where Nashville is. Like it was almost like, oh, well, I see it in where I'm living, and then I come home and like, oh shoot, they doing this.
Same thing.
They just did this. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? It's just kind of following. So what I will say in regards to Columbus and what I think it could do here, y'all would be able to speak better because you're here. Is more people are going to continue to come. Like Columbus has grown just like Nashville, but the difference it's that Midwest feel, so it's more I think transient too.
I think the announcement of Amazon coming to Nashville definitely will bring people here, but I'm more interested to see in where, like, what jobs will be available. What they say, 50,000 jobs or something?
Did you? Yeah, I think that's what they said. But did you see where, like, I think it was Seattle and a few other places where Amazon has opened hubs. People always complain. They say that Amazon doesn't bring 50,000 jobs to your market. They bring 50,000 employees.
Exactly.
Who already have jobs.
So I'm like, are you moving these niggas here just to have a place in the Gulch of all places?
That's where it's going to be? Oh, my God.
Where?
On
Beats
top
me.
of something.
Beats me,
On
Sister
top of
Cat.
something.
Don't know, but I'm
Does
just
it
like,
not have to, maybe it's
I'm
not going to be as
interested-
big of a facility as I think for it to be
50,000.
Amazon.
I am interested.
What?
I want to see how this plays out, honestly,
They gonna put
because
it over there,
it's like
though.
they're saying that they're bringing all these jobs here, knowing that people here that already live here, these starving
I need to
artists and
drive
stuff,
around Nashville.
or just people that are in Nashville, they need these type of jobs. But you're not gonna give it to these people. You're gonna fly these people out, give them incentives, tell them that, oh yeah, we're gonna buy you a place where you can live in East Nashville or something like that. And they're gonna get those jobs. They're gonna have that, and they're gonna be
like
from
how they brought people inner city anyway. My mom always talks about how like when they first said it that in order to work for like the state or things like that, you had to live in the county.
Right.
And so they were trying to give, that's how my grandma got a house out east. Like they were giving incentives and giving, extra funding so that people could buy homes in town or whatnot. And so now you have like, they're pushing those people out. And now you have all these other people that are trying to like bring
got
into
folk
the
literally
city.
living in Murfreesboro, coming to work downtown Nashville.
So when things like this happen and you have all these companies coming in, and obviously, it's good for cities like growth and just help growing this and developing the city economically. I guess I'm answering it myself while asking y'all. How do y'all feel about gentrification in general when it comes to like these businesses? Do you think it's like overall good for the city? Like I know there's some plus and minus on both sides, but just in general, what do y'all think?
I'm always back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, because some of these things that are coming into communities, whether they're business, especially the businesses, like economically, right? It should be a positive thing for the community if you're providing something that can generate, more dollars that can circulate in that municipality or that neighborhood, like whatever. But, considering, I guess, being natives and being brown people that are where we were from, and seeing other people loot and it's not even kind of to the scenario you're giving of $1 offered. Some are just just losing them, and so to see that, and then it, I don't believe everybody's like this, but the picture is like, oh, these people are coming in and they're just like, I'm reporting everything you do, and this I'm trying to change this neighborhood, like that part, regardless of if you're bringing dollars in or not, that's not a good
so like, say if they build like a bunch of tall and skinnies across the street from JCUC. And so all them people that move them white people that are going to their Amazon jobs, they're complaining about everything. So finally, the people that live in JCUC, they get the grocery store that they deserved 15 years ago, instead of that one CB's that ain't got good meat. And then they start reporting everything that goes on over there. So now niggas are getting arrested more, although they've been arrested. Even right. They're getting arrested more. They're cleaning these niggas out. So next thing you know, they're all together. Oh, we want to put up not only a barrier, because there is already a barrier over there. They want to tear down the whole Project Homes. So now you got a whole group of niggas. Now you got a whole group of niggas. Well, excuse me, a group of people coming in, changing shit. And I'm just like, oh, I like the change. I like the beginning, because these people needed that grocery store. The grocery store in the beginning. And you could clean up the streets a little, but at the same time, it's just like you're trying to get these people out so you can feel comfortable, although they have always been comfortable here the whole time.
Always. And it is not their responsibility to relocate to make you comfortable.
Exactly. Also, where are these niggas going to relocate to?
That's not the expectation we're following. So
frustrating.
Bro, what's crazy is I know a few family members who are like looking to, find new homes and stuff. And bro, like real estate agents off top, like be recommending Clarksville.
No, for real.
And I'm like, just growing up, I mean, now like I'm an adult, I realize that's only like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, it's a different perspective.
But bro, like growing up, the thought of Clarksville was just never like,
Clarksville, why are you here?
yeah, like if you are from Clarksville, seeing you in Nashville was weird to me. Whereas now that's like just a regular, thing. Yeah. That's like a lot of people are like, like when I looked up, I was looking at barbers the other day. No disrespect to Dre. But I was looking at barbers the other day in the video, and like one of the top options, I looked him up, his shop was in Clarksville. And it was plenty of people like on Nashville recommending him. I'm like, bro, niggas is not driving.
I remember when it was crazy that my mom moved us to Ashland City. Like,
like
you understand? Just there still people that refer to it as like Little Haiti or like just the outskirts. Like, and now I'm like, well, it's two things. Now I understand why my mom did it. Like in regards to the affordability and taxes and things like that I wasn't considering at, 14, 15 years old. But now it also doesn't make sense when I hear people say like, oh, I live in Mount Juliet, or, you know what I'm saying? I live in Smyrna and commute like, I'm
they used to be crazy to me. Now I fully understand.
That reminds me of, that's why they say Nashville's going to be like the next Atlanta. Like it's going to be how people live.
They call it the white
in
Atlanta.
Decatur and College
Atlanta.
Park.
That
all
makes
that,
me sick to my stomach.
And all that traffic and across all them mountains and whatever just to get.
Have you been on 24 at 3:30 in the afternoon?
I knew it was going to be some foolery when I was trying to leave Twins' house to get to Ashley's in Antioch. And when I put it in, like it said 54 minutes. And I was like, now, I don't go to Antioch a lot. Like, that wasn't where my mom...
that's just not normal.
I know that's ridiculous. And then every, 10 minutes, I would just check it. Because I was like, I'm not going to be where I need to be on time. Like, I'm not about to sit in that food, I had to wait basically like another 50 minutes just to get to 24 minutes away.
Not only are all these people here, they can't drive.
And I know they be looking at me crazy because I get home and be yelling at people through my window. And they're like, bitch, you got Ohio tags. Like, you ain't from here either. But I'm like, no, I'm from here. Like, y'all need to get, we are full.
I don't know who's anymore.
We are full.
But there's definitely a difference, though, when you're driving. When you're GPS driving and when you're memory driving is different. Because, like, I know I can ride this lane until this exact point, and then I got to get over it.
Absolutely.
Too.
Do they have rules here yet, like where you can't drive with them in your hands, or if you're seen with your phone? Like I think that's in Georgia now. Like if you're seen,
if they see your
do
hands,
we have that here yet in Nashville?
So.
I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know.
But what's funny about this whole conversation is, bro, like, do y'all like even? I don't even remember transitioning into like caring about shit like this, like just being an adult. I didn't give a fuck about this shit growing up. Like,
I didn't give a fuck until I got back.
I don't think I thought about traffic until I was 18 years old. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Just like processing things. Like it's crazy.
I didn't even drive. I didn't get a license until I was 18.
Yeah, see.
And then where we were driving, there wasn't necessarily like an abundance of traffic. So I feel like I started paying attention when I moved to Columbus because I don't have to drive in traffic to get there. But I started to notice like, ooh, these people be in this all the time. And I cannot fathom like having to deal with that and getting to work. I don't now. Like I don't have to deal with interstate. I can literally by street get to where I need to be.
I fucking hate traffic. But just adulting in general, what's y'all's least favorite part of adulting? Paying bills?
I would rather you ask my favorite parts of adulting. One of my favorites is bedtime. I mean, because when you were a kid, you didn't really want that. But like, if you know me, I sticks.
I be
to
bullshit.
My mother
I be mad at myself every morning. Like, why the fuck was?
I'm past that. I'm at full throttle adulthood now. Like I'm like niggas. I gotta.
I'd be
go
mad
to
if
bed.
I go to sleep too early, because either I'm gonna sleep too long, or I'm not gonna sleep.
If you go to bed early, you gonna sleep too long?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wait. Well, it was a joke one time. They were like, sometimes you ever fell asleep when you get home and you wake up and be like, ooh, it's time to go to bed. So you just wake up to put on your pajamas to go back to sleep.
I hate when I do
That's
that.
adulthood. My least favorite. What's your least favorite part of adulthood, Maya? Oh.
Now, how do y'all pay your bills? Because the way I do is just so depressing.
Like
crying.
Not. Oh, I thought you meant said. I was about to say like 90% of. No, honestly, at this point, all of my bills are automatic.
I need to switch it to that because honestly, like what it does to my spirit is so sad. I get paid, and literally before my fucking feet touch the floor, I'm on my phone. I'm like, oh, is that bill?
I've seen a bank record of mine that's like, oh, it's 12:02. I was like, oh, y'all was like,
no game.
We know them niggas driving at 11:59, so we gonna go ahead and be ready. Like, but I'm a very like organized plan. Like but also I still bank with Regions, which is not in Ohio.
Oh, that sucks.
So I don't have like just free access to go like, and that's my bills account.
So you
that's
pay
like
my every time you get cash.
I don't get cash from that account. Like that's my expenses account.
Okay,
so like I know it's gonna be automatic stuff, and so like that's where majority. But my spending account is a bank that's in Columbus. So
Bro, I'll be ready to I'm not ready for automatic bill paying because Apple is not taking much of anything on my account. But I still be mad every time. Like I'm like, hey dog, don't be just coming to
you don't like that automatic?
Bro, they just be like Apple just
they be like, here's your receipt, girl. Thanks for the money.
Bro, that email comes quick.
It don't matter if it's a holiday. It don't matter what's going on in the world.
Do you have like other streaming, network or streaming sites that take automatic too? Like you have Spotify or
mostly Finesse,
Gosh.
I got a cousin, sister, friends,
shout
uncle,
out to my god
somebody.
sisters for that Netflix.
You feel me? And shout out to people who sacrifice their phone reception for benefits. That's what I do with T-Mobile. So I mean,
Oh, that's how you get your Netflix.
Yeah. T-Mobile, I get my Netflix for free.
I get Hulu.
Shout out to Kayla for my Hulu.
Shout out to Maya for my Hulu. Gang.
Shout out to
y'all
Jackson
be watching
before
Steven
that.
Universe.
That'd be Walter.
Y'all be watching what?
Steven Universe.
What is
did
that?
I ask for your Hulu for? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying for
It's
all that.
so good.
With the show?
Yes.
By the time I finish this, I'm gonna be doing something
Sleep
really
it.
I was gonna
childish.
say, I feel like there's some
Sleeping.
like melatonin in this.
I know some
Oh, I
really
thought
cool
you was gonna
people
say
that
crack.
drink these regularly.
And I was gonna agree.
I've never really had that experience. I don't
Really? You don't remember that?
I don't even really know what crack is supposed
We
to
gave
like.
you crack that one time at Tuskegee.
No, never, nigga. So like, I've never done cocaine, obviously, but I know.
Oh, I know you did
I know
cocaine.
what. Chill, because people hear this and be like, "What?
What?
No. I've never done any like real hard drugs, but I obviously know from like just movies and stuff the effects of something. I really don't understand what crack, the feeling it gives people. Like I don't even know what it is. All I know about crack is it ruins your life. Like I don't even know what they are aspiring to feel. You know, like somebody who smokes weed, you just like they just want to chill out and like have a vibe.
Yes,
What
we
are you
do.
trying to get to with crack? Like, what is the goal?
Some people, I've learned this. Some people they want a high that's
I've learned
better.
this.
Right. I've learned this from actual crackheads, but they want a high that's better than weed. They want a high that's better than coke, and so they go to the next thing. That's
But
like
what I'm saying is, so weed is gonna chill you out, and coke is gonna have you all hype and stuff.
but they want something different. So
Is that
that's
not what
what
coke
that's
is?
well.
You don't be like turned. No.
Oh, I
You just
thought
gonna be up.
Yeah. Well.
You gonna be alert.
I think it's a balance because
But I feel like I'm missing something. I don't even want to hit it. I don't know what's going on.
I think there can be a balance because some people will sometimes, there's a terminology for it. Some people will, combine the two. So yes,
Crossfade.
Not really.
That's not
Not
crossfade.
quite.
I like that. We'll call it a crossfade for the
That's
sake.
definitely a
This is,
thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
okay.
That's like being drunk and high at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so yeah, it's essentially
sounds like
that there's a
good time
name
to
for
me.
this specifically, but to address what you're saying, there is like a combo of that like stimulant, but also
I think it's time to talk to my local
crack.
crackheads again. To
You
see
can
what's
you can
up.
get a balance. Some people like to lace their weed with coke.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Boonk. Ain't that what it's called?
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, Boonk.
He does that.
It's not-
The Boonk Gang boy.
no.
No.
Boonk is what it's
Boonk
called.
is what Trick Daddy. You know.
You remember Trina
he
was like,
smell
"Don't
like
come over here, smell like Boonk
Boonk
and
and
shit."
Hennessy. He smell
Oh,
like
yeah,
Boonk and Hennessy.
You don't remember that?
I do, but
And
I-
let me
She's
tell
talking
you,
about- it's-
that's what she was talking
Is
about.
That
weed with
motherfucker-
like either cocaine or crack? Just like
No,
I
it's
just-
coke.
I didn't- I
He
knew
laces
it was
his blunts
weed.
with
I
coke,
guess I
but
just
he
thought
don't
it was
take
like
his
a
damn
Miami.
medicine.
His
What he
lupus
got?
medicine.
He don't take his damn lupus medicine, but he smoke boom.
I thought that was just a
Every day.
metaphor for like
He
for
got his
Miami
damn-
for weed. Period. I didn't
Nah.
think it was. Oh well, here we are. So yeah, but I mean that doesn't make you turn super up. I don't think
I'm
we were
popping.
talking about adulting. Is what's crazy is I don't even
That's
know
crazy.
how do we got
Listen,
here.
because
crack
Like,
adulting
that's
means
a
you have to
wild-
manage
A lot of adults
your
become crackheads.
indulgence
They get
in
there, bro.
your
That's 'cause being an
vices.
adult is stressful
because
bro.
life
Like,
is hard.
Do you think you know now as an adult how to handle your vices, like how to handle your alcohol and your turn up methods?
I'm like one of my biggest fears in life is addiction. So I don't think I've ever. I mean, okay, I'm going to one of my good friends' wedding this weekend. But outside of that, like drink
That
of the
young
day,
man.
drink of the day is typically like the only drinking I do unless something is happening that week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean that's like the only thing I do regularly.
Okay.
Like,
so
I
you
don't
do.
have-
So you feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
have a.
Like I'm sure I have other vices in my life, like just unproductive things that I do, but like substance abuse isn't gonna be one of them. I refuse,
Absolutely understand that.
Listen, I am.
dude. So no. I'm not. I'm really gonna have to start working on visuals because as we were talking about substance abuse, Maya just turned her code 45
'Cause
to
she
the
needs
head.
to
Like
catch
she has
up.
been slow, but she's been behind everybody.
I'm murdering
And in that
all of
moment, she
y'all.
was like,
Minutes.
"Ruin me."
I'm
like at
murdering
that
all
exact
of y'all
moment.
right
Like
now.
Marlon, don't be a menace.
I text that to Donald Glover. He never texted
What else
back.
is difficult about adults?
Text him.
Listen, move on. This is about me.
You know what I think is difficult about adulting?
Prioritizing.
Now that we could.
Damn, I thought I
Well,
I thought I really had finished your thought. I was like really excited.
I don't know. For me, I'm a overly organized individual. Like that's just me. But I was.
Oh, you do that Raven shit.
What is that?
Oh
Is that
my
Raven
god,
shit? I'm weak.
dude, Raven. So Raven works in project management. So it's literally what she does for
Yeah.
a living. But I mean, bro, the spreadsheets. Like
So
when we move,
Okay.
there's a spreadsheet for the deadline for when we need to have boxes and
Good.
packing materials.
That's good.
There's a deadline for when this room needs to be packed up. There's a deadline to book. And I'm just be looking
It
at
makes
these.
everything go smoother.
It's homework. I come home to homework.
Well, I mean, damn.
homework
It's
always
always
got you to
color
success, though, didn't
coordinated,
you?
color coordinated, and then she's not gonna put one copy on the refrigerator. Why do you have Coke 45 on your forehead?
Oh shit.
Let me see.
Oh,
Is that what that is?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, because it came up. It may have came
Did
off
it
the
come
bottle.
off?
It may have came off the bottle.
Anyway, it's gonna be color coordinated. She's not gonna have one copy. It's gonna be all over the house.
So I can't say I'm on that rave. I am, but I'm minus XL. Like I'm really a analog girl in a digital world. I will write something in that same format. Like you would still come home and I guess get a list or like a very bulleted situation, but no. But I would. So I prioritize well. I was gonna say one of the hardest things for me now with like adulting is trying to figure out how to navigate like an adult relationship with your parents, your family, like
Oh my God.
and your peers, because you're growing into your own individual like adults, right? So like balancing like everybody's level of adult is a little different. Right
and so
now.
you really see what like is what with your friends. You really see the level of maturity, and it's a challenge sometimes. Like where your priorities or your focuses are just completely different.
And it's a
from
double
somebody else's.
understanding. You get it that they may be at a different place, but it's like as you are maturing, it's kind of it's hard to sometimes navigate that space or how you communicate certain.
Well, in
different
life,
things.
as you get further to being an adult, I feel like in life it's the first time that, you know, we always say everybody has their own time or their own plan, or what works for you doesn't necessarily work for the next person. But I mean, you go like going through school, you pretty much all have the same general setup. So when you get into your adult life, is the first time where it's really like you're going at your pace. They're going
It
at theirs.
deviates from that narrow direction or that narrow plan, kind of. Yeah,
and it definitely gets difficult at times. But
I feel like it's more difficult for me. Like I feel like my peers, like we could all be at different spaces right now, right? And like we could naturally kind of understand that. I feel like the more difficult part is like explaining it to those like that aren't at that, like from those above that are like, oh well, when I was your age, I was already doing this, or when I was at this age, I already had this going on. And even those, again, I work with kids, and like it's also that other side of me explaining, like, listen, I know you think that like when you hit this age or when you're at like this is you, I'm like, psh, let me tell you.
Did you ever play MASH?
Oh, I still do.
We play MASH.
that's
And
the like
I
paper
still
game.
do.
I used to have
No, that's
like
where you would have like MASH that's like mansion,
who you were gonna
apartment,
marry,
shack,
what house you're gonna live in,
and
the
then
color of your wedding, name of your baby,
your dog, your pet. I always did a pet. Team animal science.
what age you were gonna get married, and my shit was at 23.
Or like the kid.
That was the age. 23. I
Can you
wanted.
imagine being married at 23?
Did y'all really
Did
have
you
in
know
your
me
mind
at 23?
like?
Are you kidding me? I was a wreck, and I married with 3 kids. That was the goal at 23.
That'd be people's lives. People really achieve that
Yo,
shit.
that was
like,
not my life though.
Oh my God, I feel like that was yesterday and it was not.
It was not, bro. That was a smooth 5 years ago.
Wow.
Let me tell you about 5 years ago. Maya did not know.
2013.
dude, oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Fresh
I
off
mean,
I
graduation.
was fresh off a lot of things.
bro, like, I don't know how people do it. It's just,
I don't, bro.
You just gotta let everybody do their own thing and just grow.
But you're like adulting more than any of us in this
Right,
room.
to be honest.
Okay,
getting
let's slow down.
married.
Let's slow down.
Aren't y'all
I
getting a
mean,
house?
shouldn't we be telling you that,
Congratulations.
Mr.
No.
Adult?
Okay.
Right.
So one
good
thing about
accent. Thank
adulting
you.
is you realize that there are certain anxieties that we just put on certain situations. So there's certain things that you feel like that
Put
next
anxiety
step
on
is really
everything.
gonna be a big deal. But bro, like once you get out
What's
there,
it? Give me an
you're like,
example of an anxiety.
bro, this whole wedding thing, and I mean definitely, like I'm not married.
Everything
So I don't want
When
to.
you and Raven said something about elope, she said like the planning process has been cool. Which she's like every day I think about just eloping.
Everybody
like, wow,
I'm known to
like,
get married has said,
I bet
"Fuck
that's
it,
right.
we just finna elope."
But see, that's the thing. Like, you think all this, like, and marriage is hard. Like, I want to keep emphasizing that, like, it's a process, and like, I don't want to demean anybody that's working on their marriage and fighting that battle every day to be there for their significant other. But if you notice for people when they get engaged, like by the time you make that decision, bro, the relationship isn't the hard part. It's planning a stupid ass wedding.
And
like,
there's that piece of adulting because it's not just what you guys want to do. Like you have to really consider
Bro,
your
you really
families
consider people.
and your
Yeah,
and your
exactly.
friends and
The wedding's for everybody.
decisions around your budgets and your like what this
Vince
means for your
Staples,
long term.
my
It's
good,
For sure.
my good big crip Vince Staples. He said weddings are just like
What did
to
she
show
say?
off.
Your big
My
one?
my big crip.
I'm not gonna discuss crips on this
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. He said
But
weddings
shout
are
out to
just
my
like to show off. And he said he wants a girl that's honest with him. He was like, I don't mind a wedding. I just want to know, are you trying to show off or not? And I don't agree with that because I think my wedding, although I don't think it's gonna be
Thankfully, yeah.
it's gonna be big. I just want everybody to see us come together. But then at the same time, that's the definition of a show.
I think you want. Well, for me, the way I view it is not showing off because I plan on.
Right. I don't want to look at it as showing off.
I don't think of it as showing off. I think of.
Right behind you.
What's your next topic?
We never finished the wedding topic.
Oh shit.
Weddings.
I feel like with weddings, it's not about showing off. I feel like it's a coming together to celebrate. This is me and my partner, and for a lot of people, it's gonna be meeting people because you got family members who not finna like pop up or just too far away and shit like that. I don't know. I think weddings are lit, but I mean,
I'm not preparing for any weddings, but I know, so two of my best friends are in the process of planning, and I feel like they would share the same sentiments in that the things that they used to talk about when we were early 20s, now when they talk about their ceremonies, they're like, look, like,
Listen, let's be realistic.
I just want to do just this. And it's such a more, and not that what they wanted wasn't realistic, but you can see how that like adulthood is kicking in, like your priorities and your thought process behind that is,
our friend Lauren,
different.
Her wedding, I think she maybe did all the decorations herself.
Lauren.
I'm probably gonna have to cut her full name out.
Sorry.
Well,
It was beautiful.
Let's meet Friday. I love her.
Nah, yeah, that's
right. Let's meet Friday. Shout out to Lauren.
Yes.
Is Let's Meet Friday like a thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's something that's her entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's hard. It's like a blog.
Gang.
I think she does do some blogging with it, but she has products too.
Oh, that's
Chicken
hard.
Bridges, yeah.
Wait, what do you? Okay.
She came up because she also, like, being a young peer, like, did her wedding. Her husband went to ski too, but also young, and so like I'm sure that their process changed.
Wait,
maybe
what are the
over
products though? Because Let's Meet Friday sounds like.
Oh well, when I say product, she has like clothing.
Oh, okay,
She has
okay.
clothing,
Fire clothing too. I was looking at that jacket.
She's real stylish. She's a cool girl.
Honestly, I thought it was one of those like seduction things. And I was like,
Absolutely. That's exactly where we were going.
that is legit what I thought.
Wow, I was about to sing Snoop Dogg. Two different.
Snoop Dogg is my number one favorite Crip.
I can understand that.
I mean,
Ben Staples, smooth second.
My second is Nip.
Third.
My third
Nip is third for you.
undisclosed.
I love Ben Staples.
Okay, no, I rock with Vince too. But who was two?
Vince Staples.
Her two is Vince. My two is Nipsey.
Who's three?
Nip.
Oh,
For her. For me, it's a personal friend.
Actually, Nip number 4, Vince number 3, Snoop number 2.
Nah, Snoop my number
Big
one.
Crip is number me.
Did I tell you I had a bit? I'll have to talk about it after.
I understand.
you said man had a bit.
No, I got a bandana. I'm
Whoa.
set out.
Call the feds, folks. We got a gangbanger.
OG, triple OG. Queasy baby, aka Queasy the Snowman, aka
Queasy the Snowman.
You niggas is
Do you know how I actually got that rap name? That was my second rap name.
Queasy the Snowman?
Yeah, my first rap name is always and forever Queasy baby. I got Queasy the Snowman because I was rapping in my world history class in Humbug, and my hands were ashy and somebody. I know who said it. I know who in my class. Shout out to Thomas. He was like Queasy the Snowman. Yeah, but I mean, it was kind of lit because Jeezy was in my top 3 at the time as far as rappers. So I was cool with it.
Most people don't have one rapper name. You had two?
I had 2, and at the time, both of them like
Were fire.
fire. We're talking like freshman, sophomore year high school. Like, so I took it as a compliment. And I put on some lotion and went on about
kept it moving.
because obviously the nigga pointed that out. All the other white people in the class never said a thing.
They were cool.
They
I
were
too
fine.
got my
with
name
it.
from Lil Wayne.
Listen,
Khaleesi.
it's real out here. Please say it, baby. Please say it, baby.
I want to talk to y'all about dating in 2018 from like a female perspective because I hear about. Oh wait, are
I
y'all
don't-
offended
I
by
don't-
female? I know people be tripping about
By the word female,
Yeah,
I'm not offended by it. No.
people be
Wait,
tripping.
what happened?
I said from a female perspective. but
What do
I'm
you
not-
mean by female?
Yeah,
I did that
exactly.
just so I can.
I want to
Brother.
get y'all opinion on that.
What do you mean by
God.
Tuesday?
about Tuesday?
No, I'm not offended by that.
But no, I'm gonna get y'all's opinion on dating. But first, I want to do the shit you see in the shade room.
Oh,
And I'm really
I like that you're doing that.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes me look more because I don't follow them, but I
Me
assume when stuff happens, like, ooh, I should probably check.
I was really surprised that Woods was so offended I don't follow the shade room, but whatever.
But you follow Baller Alert.
I just feel like I could do one, but not two.
I follow Greek
I feel
shenanigans,
that.
and I think that's enough for
That's
me.
a hot
Nicole,
ass
show me.
mess.
Bro,
Bro, if Greek shenanigans isn't getting passed down, that's the crazy shit. Like, if there's a 30-year-old making fun of like 19-year-olds,
do you be seeing memes of
Spring
old white
19.
men wearing Alpha Phi Alpha t-shirts in the streets?
And I just be like, you could have just asked that nigga to take it off. Like, you didn't have to.
Parade him. I
Screenshot.
know. Why does our
That
generation
old
do
Mexican don't know about no Phi Beta Sigma. He
No,
just picked
the
up a
old
hat.
Mexican men don't ever be in the fraternity shirts. It's always a sorority. And
had
it don't
on-
ever be like, it don't ever be the period that could be like kind of mistaken for male clothing.
No.
It always be the most feminine, like
It
female
always-
period. And it's always some Mexican man in there just sitting like, hey,
The AKAs,
He
poor
just
things,
be
they,
trying to-
they always get their stuff
Listen.
kidnapped.
You don't know
Like, come
how
on,
that
dog.
man got that.
Always.
He went to Goodwill because he needed a shirt and a hat.
niggas be at work with hoodies that say Diva on them. Dog, you knew it wasn't for you. Like, come on, bro. Like, you didn't know Diva wasn't for you?
Or beanie with it on there.
Right. Come on, bro.
Devo.
It's cold outside. He needed what he needed.
He needed what he needed, man.
So let me get back to the shit you see in the shade room, and I have to start it off on like a somber note. And rest in peace to
I know what
Kim Porter. And it's probably too soon, but the odds of him hearing this, and by the time he hears this, I'm sure he'll be in a better place. But Diddy's post was a little like, it was a little much for me, and I normally let people get
You talking about the very first one?
get their stuff off, but I don't. It always surprises me how we like unanimously let shit go. Like, we just gonna be like,
Please elaborate.
I mean,
Which
it
post
just
are you talking about? Are you talking about the very first
you
one?
can't really. I mean, I just feel like it's odd to.
Like their relationship.
Yeah, I just really feel like it's odd to just be speaking on somebody as your soulmate, fresh off of a 10-year relationship with somebody else. Like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I get it,
I
but
don't.
he was mourning, I think. So he was just,
Feeling all those emotions that
yeah.
he's felt about
He
her.
was like, damn, I love this bitch. So let me just,
Yeah.
but I obviously, and I don't think Cassie thought anything about it. I don't
they
think
go
so.
to, they're like broken up.
I
aren't they?
know, but
Yeah.
still, but
I
even if you said, oh, this bitch my soulmate, even though I was dating this lady that I left her for 10 years.
Like, that ain't. And so people like to paint it like, yeah, that was just a little fling. 10 years is a long time.
That's
like,
a
Yeah.
long ass time to just do your thing.
It really seems like the love contract expired. Like, that's such a round number.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, did he be talking about they love contracts instead of marriages? I'm like, he really had her under a 10-year contract and was like, yep, there's that.
Wait, really?
You never heard that about Diddy? He said he don't do marriage. He does love contracts.
And hers was up?
I mean, it just seems.
Well,
I mean,
you're
it's
saying
10
because
years.
of the amount of time.
Yeah.
The, like roundness of
Yeah, it just seems like a perfectly round number. Like,
I can't speak on that. I guess in thoughts of like the post he did about Kim Porter, it's one of those situations where I recognize that there's levels of relationship that I'm not privy to yet. So like what I get the point of like you're fresh out, because let's be honest, if I was that fresh out person, but I think the bigger piece for me is like they have kids. And that's where I'm like, there's areas of relationship that I'm not privy to. So I think I can take the statement of soulmate and not make it so in the moment or in comparison to what you had and literally just had with Cassie, but more so like that's a bond
on a different level.
That's on a different level, because you know they say that about people that don't even stay together.
Yeah.
Like you're always connected, and especially since they publicly have had a relationship that has been positive in regards to those kids. So it's also like a relationship that, from what we can see, didn't even involve any
Her
like
oldest called him dad.
Craziness.
Yeah.
It's
Looking
always
like
been a
Albert
relationship that not only do we got these offspring that bonded us in a way, like it didn't break us apart or have us like whopping like sometimes we see. So that part is like something I don't get, because I've never had it. I don't have that dynamic with anybody, but it's like that's the way I would think maybe someone like Cassie would look at it. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's been with you, but you get that's a different, it's like he said, we some other shit. He said that himself. Like we weren't just something, like it's something
different.
It's something different. I don't have the perspective
To
all the
me,
way to
I
understand
think
it.
the shade room was looking for mess, and it really wasn't.
Always.
It really wasn't mess this time. It was just like he was speaking from the heart, and I feel like everybody involved knew, even his other baby mamas.
They should let Miss Tina run the shade room, because she would give a little bit of tea. She always shares stuff probably more than she's supposed to, and then she gives you like a corny joke. And who
Tina, like
corny
Beyonce
joke
mama?
Yeah, who hates that? Like
It's corny joke
she always
time.
spills a little too much with her pictures and like insight, but at the end of the day,
Let's write that in. Let's do that.
what?
Ask if she can take over.
If she can take over
Yeah.
for further
We'll
notice.
start.
Do y'all remember that video where she was recording something? I don't think you're supposed to be recording, and Blue was telling her.
in the museum or
You're not
something like
supposed
that?
to record in here.
And she continued to do what
You're not
grandmothers
supposed to
do.
do
I
that.
just wanted her to say, "Shut up."
Ignore, right? That's the only part she basically
when
left
she was
out.
jumping off of a fucking yacht, because rich people jump off of yachts.
Tina.
Yes, and Blue was like, "Can you swim?"
No, Maya, we were just talking about how she put those like hands in Tina's eggs, and she tried to play it up. She's like, "Look, what is this?" And I love grandmas. They always like go with your bullshit.
They really do.
They be like, "Now what is this, baby?" But that's obviously not Tina's voice.
Shout out to my nana.
Shout out to my
My
grandma.
grandma was not with this shit. Get your ass out this
right.
kitchen.
My grandma would not have had it like at all.
My mother was more of the
But my grandma used to
enforcer.
whip me with a fly swatter, and I used to always just be like, "This is just so degrading." Like,
So,
Let's talk about-
because you know she been going at the fly.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's so dirty. Like, why are we doing this?
My
bro?
grandma, my grandma used to flex like she didn't hit us, but sis had the acrylic nails and would tap that ass if need be. And listen, it hurt.
Bro, the
And
fly
I'm never
swatter
gonna
didn't
get it.
hurt, but you're whooping me with what you kill bugs with. Like,
That's nasty.
this is really trifling. Like,
That's so nasty. And with the same vengeance that you went after that fly with.
Like you're
like,
the
you
same
are
strength she would kill a
swatting
fly.
me. You are swatting
That's what she's
me.
using to
and
whoop your ass.
it was really one of those things where you like it happens to you as a kid, and you're like, "This is messed up." But as you get older, you know, there's certain things you're like, "Oh, okay, that makes no." I'm still here. It didn't make
Still here.
sense. Like, you shouldn't have been hitting me with that, Granny. God rest her soul, though.
There are so many things I just randomly want to sing because there's a microphone.
That is
This
a
is
challenge.
us.
That's not one. One of them, I definitely was singing. I was singing it earlier. Were y'all in the car? I be singing. I be talking to myself a lot.
We were never in the car.
No,
No, so I
Nah, all
was
three
singing
of
it by
us.
myself. Maybe I sang it out loud. It's been an hour since you've been gone.
No.
Did I sing that out loud here?
I don't believe so,
But
sister.
that's too long, so come back home.
Wait,
Mike's like,
do
this
that
like,
last one again.
home.
One more time,
I
please.
can't live without you.
Ooh, vocalist.
We have not
Wait,
talked
wait.
about shit.
Wait,
We haven't.
Maya, wait.
I'm scared.
Wait,
I was so scared to know what's about to happen right now.
this is for Alan.
Oh, Lord.
Time is
It's slipping
slipping
away
away from me. Away from
Time is slipping away from me.
Yeah. Away from me. Can we talk? I wish we would have done
An episode.
underrated movies. I would have put Life on there.
Life
Life is underrated. You
It's
think
so.
so?
I don't think.
I think there was a period that it was a whole entire month that me, Sly, Jac'quese, and Alan, we sent that song to each other daily.
every day.
Y'all should have been talking to him because
Who, Alan?
yes. So I was with him. I was with him yesterday.
Yeah,
It was me,
crazy.
him.
He gonna start
Y'all
saying that
crazy,
again.
man. Y'all
It was him, me, and Crunch.
Shout out
And
to Crunch.
they were talking about Harlem Nights, and they were like, we were just talking about how good of a movie it was and laughing. And Mo was like, hey, what's that other movie that had all them in it? And we were like, oh, Life. And he was like, nah. And I was like, all right, well, okay. There's not a lot of movies with this all-star cast. Even
Yeah.
Life is like a little off. And he was like, nah, it's that other movie. Man, they was like, well, and I was like, okay, I'm going to let you know now. Whatever it is you're about to name is not going to be correct. He's like, nah, it's got all them in it. Bro, it was, I'm going to get you, sucker. And it was like,
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
think there's a single person in both of those movies.
Okay, maybe not. But that is one of the best films I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my life. I'm not Robert Townsend.
That's the movie
Let's
he
talk
was
about
talking
Robert
about,
Townsend and how he's an amazing director
Yeah.
and should get an award.
I didn't know he directed that.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get you, sucker. Hollywood Shuffle and 5 Heartbeats.
Let's not forget that movie that was on Disney Channel with the superheroes where the little
up
boy was.
in the motherfucking way.
Oh,
What was
he
the
was
name of
afraid
his-
of
what was
aluminum
it?
foil.
What was the name of his show? Used to come on WGN.
Parenthood.
Parenthood, yeah.
A damn good show.
I love that show, and then I was like fucked, like as a child when I watched her get smashed in the bathroom by DMX as a crackhead or a heroin
Oh, where
addict.
did this go? What movie is that?
So the
Listen.
daughter in Parenthood,
Reagan.
Gomez. Love her.
She needed a check.
she
Listen.
did Cradle to the Grave,
Oh
think-
yeah, that's a DMX.
and so like DMX was
Overrated.
sprung off of her in the movie, and so he was like, "Yeah, I can't be strung out on no chick." So one day, like instead of like giving her whatever her vice was, he gave her something else that like made her strung out to where she needed him. I think she like laughed at him taking her. Something happened where he was hurt, and so he got her addicted to some drugs. And so when she asked for drugs again, he like was like, "I gotta smash or something first." But either way, she was strung out and he was
Oh,
smashing in the
no.
mirror, and I was just like, "This is
Yikes.
sad.
Yeah, that's real sad.
This is such a hard fall from Parenthood."
I mean, she's
DMX.
still cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's really.
She's a
I
nice
follow her
lady. You
on
should
Twitter.
follow her on Twitter.
What else does she do in life? Like, does she have another movie after that?
She was on Queen Sugar for a minute, and then
Ah,
she does have a.
it's like a 15-year gap. Drugs are hard, man. Even when you're just
Wait, was
acting.
that real? Or,
No,
oh, I
but
was
I
about to
mean-
say, you know what,
Nigga,
Blake?
she ain't do no damn drug.
You know what, Blake? You're just taking it a little too
No,
far.
Shit, she has this. She had a show on YouTube. I think it was a web show. About 2 black sisters during the apocalypse, zombie
She
apocalypse.
had it on what?
on YouTube.
It was a YouTube series about the zombie apocalypse.
2 black sisters trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse, and it actually wasn't bad.
Yeah, okay.
2
I've
black
never heard a
sisters
synopsis that screamed bad acting to me like that in my life.
But listen, I watched and I was like, oh, I fuck with it.
That shit sounds so bad.
I get it. And listen, if I were you, I would say the exact same thing. But then I watched it and I was like, nah, it's all right.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Oh. I'm gonna look this up because I know that that's some bad.
You have a lot of great movies for Maya to look up.
Maya just is like a multimedia.
She's
Gang,
a movie
gang,
girl.
gang,
That's
gang, gang, gang.
music,
Guess
movies,
what I
entertainment.
smoke,
That
nigga.
is really like.
Oh, y'all want some music that you need to listen
Maya's
to?
amazing.
Yes, I can
Space.
keep
yeah.
up with music.
Okay, what new music that you have been listening to?
This definitely isn't on most people's radar, but one of my Young Thrust boys. That sounds crazy. If you don't know what Thrust is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit that out. One of my Thrust boys. That sounds
Yikes.
What's his name?
terrible. Shout out to Bryn Joy. He's got a new song that he dropped called Henny in the Hamptons. Bro, that shit is amazing. Like, this shit is fire.
Okay. Henny
But
Hamptons.
bro,
Young Shaq.
I've been listening to Currency and
I love Fire in the Clouds. Like I've been listening to that nonstop since it dropped on my birthday weekend,
and Gangsta Gibbs. I don't want to leave him out. My
I
bad.
love Currency.
Smino, Reason.
Did you listen to Anderson .Paak?
That's what I
I
was
did
gonna.
listen to Anderson Paak. I'm tripping.
I was gonna suggest that.
That was a good one. I'm trash because you know whose album I have yet to listen to.
Snoop Dogg.
No,
The
I
gospel
listened to
album?
that. No, I listened to that.
Oh, okay.
I told you how he's my number one crip.
Oh, Ben Staples' album is good.
Yeah, it is. Gonna
Um,
suggest that.
It was a long-awaited album, and I haven't because I just figured out how to not play my albums on shuffle. So I was trying to figure that out.
Yuck.
Wait.
Ew.
Listen. You want to talk about? I told you on Benjamin Button. Like I had to ask my kids because every time I was trying to play albums, and I'm a purist. It's like I wanted, when I want to
The way
listen to
it's
it,
supposed to
the
be
way it's
listened to,
supposed to
yeah.
be provided as art, and I couldn't figure out how to unshuffle my iTunes, and then the kids just told me press play, but I was pressing one. Like I would go to an album and be like, tap one, like the number
Well,
one
even if
song.
you do that, you can just turn the shuffle off.
I did, and it wasn't working.
Nah.
But now I know you press play and it goes in order. But yeah, it was a long awaited album, and I still haven't listened to it.
Well,
No
Girl,
guesses?
long awaited.
Classic, top 3.
Nigga,
in
what?
anybody's rap. I like guessing games. No,
Mm-mm.
everybody in the world is yelling it out. I haven't listened
No,
to it.
there's no way.
No, they're
Who?
not.
Are y'all gonna yell at me? Because I haven't done
Oh,
well
Lil
with the
Wayne.
lyrics. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Lil.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even have to say
Nigga.
it. I haven't listened to
It
it.
was good though.
I
So
know,
it was
I know
like
it's good. I just
Lil
haven't
Wayne.
listened
So
to
the
it.
Girl Fight was like super good. Like I loved it, but I ain't never like.
You know who
wanted
I
to go back
blame
and
for
go
stuff
listen
like
to
this?
it.
You know why I haven't listened to a lot of music, like albums straight through?
Why?
Because I spend my time now listening to like podcasts.
It's lit.
That's honest. Like now when I'm like riding around in my car,
It
like
engages
that,
you more,
especially in the car, that's like my number one place to listen to an album, like to make sure it rides. But like now I find myself
I'm definitely the same way.
listening.
Do you know
to
what I've been
niggas.
listening to a lot lately?
What?
Playboy Cardi.
He's got bops.
I think, and it's crazy because at first I was just like, I ain't fucking with this nigga. And then one day I just put the album on and I was just like, oh no,
Unfortunately, my kids, and I can't say unfortunately because he has bops too. My kids listen to a lot of Lil Baby, so I listen to a lot of.
I
Lil
can
Baby.
I can mess with Lil Baby and Gunna, but it's like with Playboy Cardi, it's just like I can only hear the same word over the same type of beats over and over. Like it don't be no like I'm gonna pretend to have some variety. Like it's legit. Like
Oh, I've been listening to Key Glock.
oh, I fuck with Key Glock.
That's who my cousin made. Stay tuned. Shout
It's
out to
this
my- shout
one
out to my cousin
song
Dante.
that I've been listening to over and over again. It's,
Memphis is gonna fumble this, and I love Memphis, and I know people.
I
gonna
hope
be
not.
mad.
not.
So
I
when I
really hope
first-
But
not.
Memphis is legit, like probably one of the like top 5
So when I
biggest like popping cities as far as
when I
music
first
right
moved
now.
to Columbus, Yo
Black
Gotti was
music.
basically like treating Columbus like a second home, and so Columbus
Interesting.
really messes with Gotti. But now, like that nigga Dolph gets so much like. In a weird way, Columbus has like a crazy relationship with Memphis artists. You're so behind in drinking your
Relax,
40.
okay?
But why did she take the top off in the mic like she was waiting
Let
or
it,
something like
let
like
it
was
be
some
known
lighter?
that I'm
Okay,
killing the
first
game
off,
in my 40s.
Another album is called Awful Swim, and it's by Father.
I'll
Here we
check that
go with this
out.
father shit again.
Listen, it's
Here we
fucking
go.
fire, and I think you should give
What was the song you told Blake to listen to?
Young Hot Ebony.
I don't even think I know that song.
I did know the other one.
Did you
brought
listen
up.
to it?
Thought Night.
Thought
Thought
Night.
Night.
No. Okay, I stand corrected. I didn't know it. But when she played it, it wasn't that bad.
It's the devil's hour. Be a slut. Never show your butt.
Look how smoothly
The
she
moment
moves
I
with
got
her
the
robe.
recording,
So mad I left my robe.
oh my god, the moment we got the recording, I just started seeing Father everywhere.
Exactly.
Like
Look at.
I don't
That's
know if
the
it was Maya
feds.
or
It's the
what was
feds.
going on.
The feds.
I've
are
also
really
been
watching
listening to Vince Staples' that FM album Heavy because it was
Yeah.
really good. And then I've been listening to Tyler the Creator. Okay, so he put out 6 songs because he worked on the new Grinch movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
So he did 2 songs on that
gotta
actual
see.
soundtrack, and then he put out 6 songs, basically kind of like Christmas music, but not really Christmas music. But it's really good. So I think everybody should,
check those out.
take a
I
gander.
have an album
It's pretty.
suggestion because I told you I haven't been doing well. But if you are looking for something of the smoother persuasion, Marsha Ambrosia's album Nyla was
When the fuck did Marsha Ambrosius come out?
she dropped it. I honestly wouldn't have known, but I was watching The Breakfast Club, and she dropped it, and I listened to it, and I'm always gonna be like, I am a rapper, but I am always going to be like a neo soul and R&B fan, and so I really enjoyed that, but I'm also like old school. So I've been honestly listening to like Sid Finn over and over lately.
Oh, Sid is amazing.
Along with Currency
Let me tell you
again.
about
And I've
Sid
fallen
Bennett.
back in love with like
Oh, that new internet
SZA's
album with that last song that they trying to get you
oh
pregnant
my gosh,
to.
I
Nigga,
love the
fuck.
internet's new
The internet is
album.
amazing.
And I'm still listening to Janelle Monáe's album. Like I
have not heard Janelle Monáe's.
oh my
album.
goodness.
What?
Oh my
you should watch
goodness.
the movie.
The movie.
It's a movie.
It is.
A movie to the album?
I wish I would have been able to see her in concert. Do you have any concerts you're going to soon, Blake? Or are you a concert guy?
I typically am, but I'm like trying to like basically I'm not doing anything this next year. Like
I thought you were going to see Donald Glover. This is America.
I really have to just chill out this next year. I have a lot
I feel like
going
there's.
on.
I was about to say, okay, is this relate to a topic of yours?
No. I just,
Okay.
I mean, I just got a lot of things that are going to cost a lot of money coming up.
Yeah, you can
So
be
like a
I'm trying-
wedding. Yeah.
and then
Damn.
and
Who'd have
yeah.
thought?
adulting. Back to the adulting.
And so I'm really
Yikes.
just trying to sit down. But
Oh, sit down.
I've been
Hey,
seeing
oh,
footage.
sit down. Hey,
I've been seeing footage.
I don't
of
need you, ho.
Travis Scott's
Jumping on
shows,
the ground,
Yo.
stepping
and I don't
on my
know.
shoes.
That shit might.
I don't know,
Knock it
man.
like that.
That shit looks amazing.
It looks fun.
It does. It does.
Oh, my homeboy just put out a new project called Geechee Romantic. Shout out to Chancer Smith.
Shout out to Sid.
It is a good piece of work.
Yep.
Is that Chance?
Not the rapper.
No.
No.
that
He's
you-
from Tuskegee.
Yeah. Okay,
Not
okay,
from
yeah.
Tuskegee.
He
From
went to
Atlanta,
Tuskegee.
but he went to Tuskegee
He
with
had
us.
a mixtape I think I heard a few years ago.
Backseat
Yeah.
Dancer. I still listen to that.
That's crazy.
It was
regularly.
good.
Yeah.
It's always crazy when you put stuff out there and you just see how it reaches people.
Yeah.
That nigga could walk by me right now and I wouldn't know him. But it's just crazy how some you
But
put
you
stuff
fucked
in the
with the
universe and it
music.
just touches people. That is crazy.
So yeah, I've been listening to that and then Old Corn, the rock band.
Well, so you dropped the album?
No. Hold on. Porn like from when we were kids.
Like with the backwards
Yes.
jacket?
Yes. Y'all niggas
Maya just
tripping.
really be.
System of a Down. Are you
Nobody
kidding me?
will ever call Maya a wave rider. I will probably give you that
Thank you.
because I've never in my life.
Solange, Korn, System of a Down, Tyler the Creator, and Thundercat.
That is one hell of
That's your like five. That's like your holy grail.
Nah, that's just what I've been listening to today,
Nigga, that was
nigga.
just this past hour.
Not right, to be honest. I was listening to some Kamaya, Chance the
I love
Rapper.
Maya. I will say.
Maya, hot girls of the city
On
on fire. I've been
I fuck
burnt
with
all
Maya.
my
I ain't gonna lie, that's my
life.
nigga.
Now
But
what
how does it feel to be rich? I do fuck with Kamaya. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I felt super creative when I took the intro off of Reasons album and put it as the intro to my playlist. I was like, yeah, nigga, this shit gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Listen,
I be feeling super special when niggas come in my Apple Music and click on one of my playlists.
Mm-hmm.
how do y'all do? I'm so I off the record. I need
Me
y'all to teach me how to do that.
and, me and Walter made 2 high playlists that people, I don't.
Why don't I have those?
You weren't with us. I forced them to do it.
Y'all disrespectful,
So
but maybe I really don't need them. I
Jazz
have
with
the
them a lot more.
urge to rap one of the first raps I ever learned. It's the mic, man. Should never.
I'll wait till y'all done.
Do you know what
recording.
you know what?
Yeah. Homegirl walk out when you see me because I'm coming up rich. Rock with the realest, you feel me? So you should
Why
call
are you
me the
whispering?
best.
Rock with.
I'm just asking. I didn't mean to insult you. I apologize.
Wow, I'm insulted.
Okay.
I'm about to cry.
She was about to go off too. That's
What were you rapping? I didn't even know it. Did
that
you
was
know?
stilettos.
Oh, that was the first rap verse you
Rock
ever
with
learned
the
in your life?
realest, you feel me? So you should call me the best.
Killer, Jesse, classic with my
That's
stilettos
what
and
it's
all.
called.
But if a hoe say something, trust me, then
Then
her
I
heel
hope
will
we
get
get
thrown.
gone.
Turning heads, different right soon as you see one footstep out the car. Strolling through the club, then I made my way right by the bar.
I don't
Yeah,
even know why
that
you're
nigga-
whispering.
Yeah, your nigga, I am me. I
That's
take
what
him
I'm
from
from
you.
you.
So
Well,
watch out.
I'm
I'm
looking jazzy, acting classy,
classy,
but I got a sexy mouth. Hair and good and nails are too. And I rap from head to toe. And I top it off, I'm rocking sisters, black stilettos. Ho.
Every
like, I
color,
don't-
So that was your
every
first
color
rap?
every day. That's just to match the mood I'm in. Silver, red, gray, and black. Looking is good. Should be his hand.
You know the first rap I learned?
What? I'm sure you're gonna tell me.
Yeah.
That's not the first rap I learned.
Oh, okay. I was like, you was. Oh, this is
I know. Well, maybe because you could count like they call me USHER that one, but no, the
No,
first,
they don't count.
the first. Says who? No. Shout out Uncle Butch. What?
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
Lord.
I'm skipping, but today is his birthday, so like happy birthday shout out. He taught me and Alan's gonna be so
I'm
upset
already-
with this episode. He taught us our first rap. It's a Prince song. Yeah, ready?
Please tell me more.
I was just about to say, I was like,
So,
it better not be no
so y'all know the
Christian.
Jeep. Y'all know the Jeep, like the infamous Jeep. When Uncle Butch first had that Jeep, he like picked me and Alan up, and we were literally by the Quicksack, Clarksville Highway in Buena Vista, and that's when he started teaching us. And I don't even know if I've ever heard the Prince song as a whole. I've only known it, but it was
Motherfucker.
I want to know somebody to show me. Get on down with the ones who know me. Partying like a dog. Flip style like a spatula. Mac-tacular. More legend than new Acura. Body tone stone while I Mac to her. Capture her. Thinking I'm a Mac to her. Just because I'm attracted to her. But the fact of the matter is the dance floor spatter. The crowd's all here. So we push it up. Louder, push it up. R.I.P. to Prince. Those are his bars, not mine.
Wait, Prince was rapping?
No, that's a Prince song. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go listen to this.
This is what you do. Ask Alan to
Yeah,
rap
but
it
hey,
for you.
Mose, what's that song that Prince got where he be rapping?
He was right there
'Cause
with
I'm
me, so I know he
attracted
knows
to
it
her.
too. We practiced all day.
Oh my God. That's
So I know
bad.
he knows
No,
it.
the first
And that's
song-
his father.
The
So I
first
know he
rap
learned
song
it
that
more
I
than
ever
me.
learned was Trill Ass Nigga by UGK. Shout out to my mama.
The first rap song I ever learned was Jac'quese. I think.
I like my woman's fire. I got it.
Real shit. And I remember getting in so much trouble.
Blake said,
I remember that shit confidently.
something
It was either that or some silver shopping. Oh, it's so terrible.
So we act like you'll be back in this. What's the next topic so we don't get
We
edited
went
out?
through them all. I don't even know how. I don't even know
Did
how.
we? Did we touch everything?
We hit everything. Crazy.
Are you sure? Because you make it
Oh,
seem like
dating. Y'all were we were supposed to talk about dating.
I'm optimistic.
Be optimistic.
This is crazy.
You can win
I look, so you're childish.
as long as you keep
No,
your head
You're
to
optimistic
the
that
sky.
I've had
Why did you buy
I just see
40?
Chance the Rapper dance.
You can win.
man. It's such a
Them goddamn overall.
right.
Love that nigga.
Overalls were
Okay,
big
hold
this
on.
year.
We'll get for real. So you're optimistic about dating in 2018?
Yeah, I've had a good dating experience. In
That's when
2018.
you know somebody got a joint.
But no, I'm optimistic too, and I ain't got no joint.
I mean, I don't believe you. I mean, she was like, I'm
Thanks.
optimistic. I ain't got no joint.
Thanks, but no, I have a.
You
I
was
have
an
a
internet
positive-
nigga. Y'all always got hoes.
You would think that, but I don't.
Okay.
I
Why
don't.
are you laughing? I'm being for real.
Niggas, listen.
The flow of that
Niggas
statement.
who-
The internet niggas keep the hoes.
They do.
Some of them do, but not this one. So it's like you would think that, but
I'm chilling.
thank you.
I don't know what I'm supposed to divulge. Not that I have like any secret.
You're supposed to
information.
be like our sensei in this game, as
Nigga,
we are.
tell us how to
As
capture
we
the
are
ring.
actively, dating.
I don't know that I have guru advice. Like, I think you just gotta get lucky. Like, I think it's kind of. I think it's kind of like in sports where like you have to be good, but you also have to be lucky.
Yeah, I think it's happening. You are the peer that gives me hope. So, but I mean, I think it's great.
That's crazy because you just never hear that from women nowadays. Like,
Really?
I feel like dating is terrible for women. Like, I
It
feel like
is, but it also
just deal with a
isn't
lot of
because I
bullshit.
see a lot of positive images. Like, of course,
Yeah.
you and Raven, and then my best friend Jaleesa, she's also getting married.
Shout out
And
to
she's
my
very-
risen.
I love the fact that she's very open and she tells us like everything that's going on in the relationship. That she's so transparent with it. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she don't fuck with this nigga today, but regardless, she still loves this nigga and she wants to be with him at the end of the day, regardless.
Boy, that's how it
And-
be sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that. I
Yeah.
look forward to being with somebody that, yeah, you might get on my nerves for this hour, but at the end of the day, I still want to be with you till I'm dead.
Yeah, I think the best part of dating, I think around this time is I think we're all, Well, I'm speaking personally for me, but I guess because I date within my peer circle, like I'm not going for the uncles of the generation, but like I think we're all getting to become more open and vulnerable about who we are in regards to dating and experiences. Like we're breaking those cliches in regards to getting therapy, or not to say it's by a result of a relationship, but just being able to communicate who you fully are and express, all of the different things that have led to you being who you are. So that for me makes dating more promising because I don't have to have the same, I'll say fear in getting to like, oh, well, I'm learning myself and being open about that, but I don't want to share that with you because that could alter the dating experience being vulnerable negatively.
Is scary as fuck.
To be able to mature and get to a point where like I'm okay with expressing where I am and the things that I'm trying to improve about myself that I want to give to a certain relationship, things like that. Like that's a little more enjoyable.
It's also nice to meet somebody that's like on your level that understands you, that you don't have to like try and like compete to be like worthy enough. Yeah. And I'm like, that shit be wild because a lot of people, I mean, niggas are trash. Some niggas are trash. Some niggas are trash. Yeah. But a lot of niggas are not. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps me hopeful is that a lot of niggas, they're out here looking for the same thing that you're looking for. So
and going about it in the same positive direction. Because again, I aren't we all of a trash persuasion sometimes? But again, we're all growing, and so to be able to get into a phase of dating where like you feel like you are meeting more people or you're dating someone that is just as transparent about where they are in that, and it's not a judgmental thing. It's just like the adulting space, like we were talking earlier, like where you are in your adult aspect of just getting to your level of success and things like that. Like you start to understand, like it ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. I can see you that. Just and that's also when you have to pray too, because I feel like not all of our peers are at that space too. No. Like we're all still, some of us are still dealing with some things where like you're like, I ain't gonna see where you coming from, but like
what's funny is to hear like how optimistic y'all are to, making those connections, and then it's just like a lot of times when you talk to guys, and I mean, I'm not shitting on guys obviously, but it's just. It don't be that same optimism, and it's like you would think it would be the opposite way around because
don't studies show and the people say men sometimes have a different bounce back in regards to those types of situations. I'm not going to generalize this for everyone, but that that stereotype that for men it's a one-stop shop. Like you get that happen to you, and like you ain't fucking with that shit no more.
Oh, you mean like getting hurt?
But a woman will be more optimistic because you spoke of the optimism.
A lot of them are hurt.
Oh, and I mean,
they express it in different ways, and like I see you're hurt, but I know that one day, my friend, you will
one day.
So
you will come.
I don't think that's how it is. I think, well, I can only speak from personal experience,
your perspective,
but my perspective. But I think from what I've experienced and what I've noticed with other guys, I think it comes off like that. I think it comes off like, oh, once I get hurt one time, I'm cold hearted, I'm out here savaging and thugging it or whatever. But I honestly think, right? She just went ham. I honestly think when you're a guy, you slick have a little bit of like just, I think you're just super gullible at first. Like with that one relationship that happens at some point, you're super gullible.
It's vulnerability.
And then I think after you get screwed over one time, you're just like, okay.
Nobody wants to be vulnerable in a relationship. Yeah. That's one of the scariest things about being in a relationship. Letting your guard down and letting the other person see you for who you really are, and then they fuck around and hurt you.
Because there's no real way to communicate that.
Exactly.
There's no real way to communicate
once they hurt you, that's it. Yeah. It's like I get it. If any nigga in the world feel you, nigga, I feel you. So I fully get like where they coming from when it's like they immediately shut down and they go on this whole brigade where like, I'm not letting nobody in. Yeah. You gonna have to fight your way.
Which usually it's, from my perspective, I feel like that sometimes comes more from the I hope. Are you offended if I say male? I guess I
No,
never
no,
thought
no.
about it that way. Like,
I've
Wow.
I
Are you
never
offended
even
if we call you
understood
a
it.
I was
male?
gonna say the
People.
male perspective.
You're not a piece
All right.
of
No,
postal.
no, go for
I
it.
apologize to anyone that offends. But from that perspective, like, it does seem sometimes that comes from that way of like it's not vocalized as much as like, oh, a woman goes through that one situation and then she's just like, I guess so. I'm like, shut off. But I feel like for the most part, women are a little more like optimistic about it. That's been my experience. Like, I feel like, oh, well, that may have sucked, but I don't believe that all men are trash.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the next can't be better because ultimately I'm better. Like, I'm coming into it differently and a little more open to being vulnerable again about what I've been through and like who I am. And so if you have somebody that like picks that up in a healthy way and doesn't like make you feel crazy about it, but it's like, no, like I be dealing with some stuff too, then it ends up positive overall. I've seen that more in 2018. Not only with myself, but I feel like I've seen more of my peers like get to that point in their relationships, whether those be with people they've been with long term or, it's a new thing. I feel like it's getting to that point.
That is one thing I envy is even though my relationship's in a good place and I think like my maturity has definitely played a huge role in it. I wish sometimes I could go back and date or start dating now.
With a different,
with just kind of a different mindset and just view on most things. But I mean, you live and you learn. And I guess that's kind of the beauty in it.
Because you wouldn't, for me, I wouldn't feel like I would be able to date with that mindset if I hadn't gone through spaces where that wasn't my present mindset.
Bro, I was such an asshole. Like,
were you?
Bro, well, I mean, I'm just in general, like not even just in relationships. But in general, I think I've definitely grown a lot within my current relationship.
Me too, because I feel like these niggas could say, oh, Khalees was cutthroat out here in these streets.
Bro, and things
she
just
wasn't
not
giving
even
no
related
big
to
hugs.
like...
She wasn't rapping for me. She wasn't letting me come to her concerts and shows. She was like beating me in all the chicken head battles. I wasn't giving these niggas no.
Bro, I had to grow up in things that had nothing to do with it, like homophobia, sexism a little bit. I'm not really sexist. Most of my sexism, like statements, really be realistic. Like I really be.
You know what I've learned, like in going to the Midwest, like I've even as a woman I'm glad to become more conscious of. But when you think about like the things that we grew up with, just thinking like our Southern. I almost said delicacies, not delicacies, but just like the way, like now I have to think twice about like telling my kids like, oh, the boys take out the trash, or, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be sexist saying my girls can't, but that's just what I'm used to. But that's
not necessarily the norm.
That could be deemed as, yeah, right. Like I'm insinuating without even meaning to, that like girls can't do certain things. It's like even I take out my motherfucking trash, but like it's certain things that just because there were things my dad wouldn't let me do, there were things my brothers wouldn't let me do, like, or my uncles wouldn't let my mom do. And so now as an adult that's dating, there's certain things I kind of expect. I'm not gonna be like fucked up if you don't do it,
but it's just kind of where I came from.
It's what I came from, but I also don't take it as a sexist thing if you're like, no, don't touch that or don't do that. Like, nigga, and I know that I could do this, but it's that new line of like looking at things. Like now I can't just be like, oh, go ahead. Now I feel like I got to be like, I could do this. Like it's so weird now. Like everything's so sensitive. Is that the best way to say it?
Everything is analytical now. Like we have to sit back and try and figure out what things mean.
But is that? I guess that's like a bigger question. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Like, is that wrong? Is that right? Like, is it? Because I think about it, but does that also mean just because I consider it doesn't also mean it's going to shift my way of doing things?
I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like anything else, like balance. So I think us being more analytical as like a generation now, we like take things and we have deep thought on them, and we're like, okay, how's this side see this, how's this side see it, and we just get more perspective. But I think we just have to find the balance of doing it at a rate that isn't doing too much.
Yeah. I know I'm a lot more conscious, especially working with young people. Like, my biggest thing is you can literally do whatever. As a little girl growing up who had 3 older brothers, like, I literally wanted to do everything they did. Like, someone that had, like, a mom and a dad who were doing great things, like, I didn't care. Like, it didn't, and especially being little. Like, I felt like, as someone that grew up, like, really small and, like, was always brought up, I was like, I don't literally care what you're talking about. Like, I'm about to go beast mode on y'all. Like,
Right.
the only exception was basketball. I didn't succeed with that.
Volleyball for me.
But it does alter how I engage with my young people, and like being more thoughtful of what I say in regards to norms, because it's not only a personal thing, it does affect you when you go into relationships, which my young people are eager to do, and they go into things with such norms that honestly we did too. We did too. It's just we became adults.
It was what it was. Like, it's just how you felt about it at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a growth thing. Do you as a committed man, do you feel like what you see, you and Raven observe, like your friends that are single or that are in relationships, do you feel like the dating scene is going in the right direction? I don't know.
I think in 2018 is the easiest time to be whatever you want to be. Like, if you want to be out here just thotting, it's pretty easy to thought in 2018. Now, if you want to be out here and you're looking for serious relationships, I feel like there's a lot of resources for it. And I think you kind of have to be patient. Like, I feel like I've said this before. We're in that age range where, I mean, naturally sometimes, like, you can't really help it. It's just envy. And so, like, you might see somebody else being engaged or married or have kids. Yeah, and it's just not that time, bro. Like, just take your time. And I think sometimes people fall into that and just do things prematurely. But overall, I think it's really the time of making the best out of the situation. You can either, be super happy being single and finding yourself and working on yourself, like just different things that you do to improve yourself as a person are pop culture now. Like, therapy is really like popular now.
Good.
I'm so happy about that.
And reading and health and everything you can think about, just that has a focus on bettering yourself. Like, I think that's really.
I'm excited about that because I feel. I don't, Lizzie, how old are your parents, if I may ask?
60.
Okay, so
basically.
So I was talking to a friend about this in regards to like our parents, being of 60, in the ages of 60s, 50s, like they weren't necessarily brought up in a generation where you got to vocalize, some of those opinions and feelings and things that you were, dealing with. And as a result, we were kind of brought into a space where, like, on one hand, I could talk to my peoples about stuff, but like, I knew there was going to be a certain type of response because naturally you were reared in a way to give that certain response. But like, we have a different advantage in that, though we came from a space where it may not have been initially welcomed, to be able to sit down with your parents and be like, this is what I'm feeling, or vocalize with a significant other, like, all right, this is what it is, and it be positively received. Now we're on the other end where we have people younger than us and we're letting them know, like, it's okay. Like, you can come out, and it's helping us be more open to being like, okay, I'm going to go and talk to somebody about it. Like, I don't have to continue that pattern that naturally, like, I know there are things that my parents weren't going to be able to say to my grandparents because it was deemed, quote unquote, disrespectful, or you're stepping out of place as a child, or but now we're at a place where we can talk about relationships, careers, things in a different perspective, and it actually be received.
I don't just see them as parents, I see them as people. And
people.
I think being older and seeing my parents as people has really changed my views on them in general. Like, my dad, he just lost his brother. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with it as my parent lost his brother. I'm dealing with it as he lost his brother in general. So, I get it, and I want to be around him. I want I want to be there for him as if he were my friend. Not saying that necessarily he's my friend, but I want to be there for him just in general. And I get it. I fully get it because, like, I want to put that pain inside me. And I'm like, okay, what if it was me put in your shoes? So I think about that just when my mom, she talks about, like, finding a man or adopting a white child a lot. And I don't know why she does that.
Why? Like, I know those things were connected, but the way it just
They're
came out,
not
I was like,
connected
whoa.
at all.
Yeah.
So when she says she wants to adopt, like, I'm just like, sis, what are you talking about? But then I have to think and look, all of her children are adults.
Adults.
Yeah.
All of her children are adults.
Yeah. It's that perspective
And
thing.
so she's like, she's bored. And I'm like, either she wants a puppy, a fish, or a fucking kid. And she decided on a fucking white kid. Of all things, she said, I want a white little boy that's going to be y'all's little brother. And I'm like, sis, it's not going to happen. But
yeah, that's why
we'll get you your fish.
That's why I said earlier, like, for me, like, one of the most difficult parts of adulting is like that new dynamic with my parents. Like, and I think it hits me even more because I don't live here. So I feel like an extra level. And it's a personal thing. Like, I really try and process through it with my counselor. Like, just about, anticipating certain things because I have older parents and what that means for me now as an adult.
And just being worried about
and
them
just
all the
being
time.
worried, but also balancing that with the fact of, like, they are able-bodied adults. So, like, when we talk about stuff, it's not going to be like what I say goes. Because, like, no, like, you still have an autonomy, and I as an adult too have to respect that, like, you're not just my mom. Like, you are an adult that can do whatever you want. Like, that's crazy.
What's crazier is
That's
with our
crazy.
parents in that age, they're at that age where you are starting to worry about them and their future now, but they're also at that age where they've pretty much fulfilled most of their responsibilities.
In regards
And
to
they're
you.
like, I want my second childhood.
Yeah.
So they're trying to go out and just live their lives.
It's weird,
and
And
but
they're
then
like,
I
get your
fully
little
get
head
it.
you
on.
celebrate it with
I
them. Like,
get
you
it.
like, this is dope, but this is still crazy.
It's crazy.
But what y'all were saying earlier about just a lot of things not being taboo anymore and really being able to talk, not only do I think it's dope, but it blows my mind to think about people like really growing up and not having that ability to really talk about anything. Like, I've seen, where did I see that? It was on Twitter. This guy was talking about how difficult it was for him to, like, come out. And I was like, it was insensitive of me, but I'm like, bro, it's 2018. Like,
Yeah.
gay folks is popping. Like, you straight, bro. It's no big deal. Like, ain't nobody gonna really trip like that. And I'm like, and obviously I know there's still, homophobia.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it seems so much easier than it was before. And so when I see people still struggling with that today, I'm like, I can't even imagine when it was really like,
Right.
you can't
right.
talk about this.
That's a grateful part. I feel like of all the weird things that happen within our generation, I think that's a good thing to be a part of. That we're trying to break that in a way. Like, I know there are things, again, my parents would have never been able to, like, because they talk about, like, it wasn't like people that had, that were gay or lesbian, if you want to use those terminology. Like, it wasn't like they came around just when we did. Like,
Bro,
they've
it's
been around. But unfortunately, we weren't in a space to
people
talk
be
about
having
that.
whole ass marriages be 30 and 40 years.
Yeah.
And then finally be like, whew, fuck it, I'm gay.
I'm great. I'm glad
How
that
to
we
who
are
they
in a
really were.
space where it can be at least talked about. Like, I hurt for, like, people that aren't able to express, because it shouldn't be that I should just be a little more comfortable with that because I'm in a different situation. Like, that's not fair. But I think we're getting closer, and I think we're helping bridge that, like, create that space for that in a lot of different ways, even with careers. Like, I'm looking at transitioning soon, and I'm coming from parents that spent, like, my dad's about to retire after 30 years as an educator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's tough.
And I'm sitting here like, well, I did a good 5. I feel like I'm committed, some great things I have learned. Like, I'm ready for a new transition. But it's like, everything is different. But the space to communicate that and not feel attacked, but just be comfortable being vulnerable about those things, like, that's important. I think we're doing a great job of trying to help sustain and create those type of spaces in our generation, because mine didn't have that, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
All right, y'all have any plugs?
Go ahead, Maya.
I have 2 plugs. letsmefriday.com and hermodernlife.com.
Yes, Sydney.
If you just visit them, great content. Hit them up. You can also follow myself at Khaleesi on Twitter, at __ Khaleesi, and on Instagram. I don't know who's the nigga that got the Khaleesi.
That's so petty.
Oh, I do have some plugs.
Bruh.
I guess I do. They're like, of course, I want to shout out like Leticia. She has 4A.
Yeah.
My cousin Dante, he's doing his thing. Rich Pyramids. I want to definitely the same Skiggy people like that Miya mentioned. There's so many of like our good friends that are doing some really cool things.
Shout out to
Shakira and her cookies. I really like those.
Ooh, light brown juvie.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's just a lot of anybody in our. This is probably gonna be Alan's like a million shout out, but like the things he's doing with the local crew. Like when I think of all the like local folks, CKDO. Shout out to my God. Like it's not shout. It's not shout out time.
Wait, can we call him a guy?
We don't do shout. I do
too.
Who?
Mike Floss.
What'd y'all call him?
Magaha.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Love him.
But no, like anybody that's really our
shout out
really
DJ Detroit.
All the homies that are in like school and doing programs and like getting up out here. All the niggas with kids.
We see
this
you niggas.
Shout-outs, right?
We push you niggas. And
plugs
we love
and shout outs,
niggas.
are they the same thing?
I mean, niggas went crazy with the plugs and the shout outs.
Gang. Shout out to my motherfucking mama.
Plug? There's so many. Yeah.
There's so many people I can think of, but I plug them all the time. So
yeah.
Well, I really appreciate y'all coming through, and I thank y'all for being here. This is gonna be a funny episode.
It is.
I definitely have to thank the listeners and ask that y'all keep liking, rating, reviewing, all that shit. And I know y'all don't think it means nothing, but it really does. And I get a lot of like positive feedback when y'all do, so I appreciate it. Thank you for sending in topics and anything you want us to discuss. If you sent in anything and you haven't heard me or my guest address it yet, it's because I'm saving it for certain people that I think are really gonna
I'm at 1%.
do a lot to that, give a lot for that conversation. Oh, and now we got birthday shots. Y'all got any birthday shout outs?
My mama, November 19th.
My mama too was November 8th.
Oh, that's lit.
And today.
And then my best friend Nalia, November the 20th.
Shout out the infamous. Shout out Uncle Butch. Alan said today was his birthday.
Dang.
Shout out to my best friends Brianna and Ashley Harris. Their birthdays are this month. And then and Janae. Janae's birthday as well.
Shout out Janae. Cody.
Cody's birthday. Smitty. My boo Joseph. I said Uncle Butch, right? Those were the only ones on my list for November because we stop in November, right?
Yeah, more or less. Unless you got some like December 1st or 2nd. Or
Let's shout out my birthday again on October 9th.
No, we're not doing that.
My birthday was in August.
Yes, shout you out, baby, because it ain't shout you out the first time.
Thank you.
Oh, shout out to Ash. Oh, we already got Ashley. Shout out to Nate B. Shout out to Joey. And Joey is actually one of my homies that hit me up.
Joey badass.
Oh my God. To help me discuss talking about racism with white people. So I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to Pange. Shout out to Trey. Shout out to Trayvon. And
Martin.
Now Miya.
And rest in peace to Jared. It would have been his birthday this week as well. Appreciate y'all.
That's it?
That's how it is.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Happy birthday, homie. For me? Yeah. Happy birthday, homeboy. For me? Yeah. Make a wish.